Okay, raising the volume. Maybe a slight hiccup there. That's YouTube streaming has been doing an interesting thing, chat, lately, where it'll squiggle you up. It'll start the live counter, and then after a few seconds, the counter will like reset. And I think it has to do with something I know other YouTube streamers have been talking about, in that YouTube keeps auto-enabling DVR, which is like the advanced feature for people to like scroll all the way back midstream, but it also like really goofs with your latency and streaming and stuff sometimes. So I have turned that off, but it was on. How you doing, chat? Hope you're enjoying. I decided to not use the please stand by all the time. We're gonna try a slightly different setup. We'll do the neutral, the shitty. Oh, it's not shitty. It's just very simplified. The super simplified old school like default thumbnail upload I did like 5 years ago. Okay, but we're broadcasting. I hope you're having a good time, chat. I don't know why, but I have felt compelled for the past 2 minutes to keep clearing my throat, so please bear with me if I have to go grr, arg, honk. Thank you, yes. Relinquished MBT is not real. Honestly, I think that was a good episode. That was funny. I didn't realize they were, for his King of Jank, they were going to, like, rotate through the time periods. But we're here now. Hello. How's things, chat? You seeing, you hearing everything okay? Is it all going? How's my bed music? I'm speaking clearly into the microphone, and we're getting up into the yellow bars. Actually, that peaked a little, I think. But today, we're going to be talking about Roid. In a little bit, probably. I'll stall a little bit of time for Bisfair, but I won't wait forever. That said, there's not too many of these. We've had worse anime archetypes. I'm trying to think if there's any, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! News going around. I think because we took a week off last week, because we had a lot of people out. I think I haven't brought up on Fail Portrayal, my dedicated outlet for Yu-Gi-Oh! Speaking to the Void, that there was an OCG ban list not too long ago. And I feel like that has, that's kind of, you know, pulled up some stuff with people. Click this. Okay, yes. Yeah, so, hey, first of all, chat. Hold on, let me check stream health. Doing good? Yeah. Sorry, I saw the buffer wheel spinning for a second, and I was concerned. You gotta monitor everything, chat. But, if you, play Beatrice in Master Duel, get your reps in now. Because now she's also been banned in the OCG, so she's going to die. Please, please, Konami, do not do the thing where Verte is still legal for some ungodly reason. Yes, I know, pedants on the internet tell me that it doesn't matter that Verte is legal because people don't play the DPE engine. But they still can, and it's still really fucking annoying. They just shouldn't be able to. I don't care that they choose not to. I don't trust the moral quality of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel players.
I also don't expect them to not eat glue.
Well, that happens too.
Wait, that's Duelix players. Never mind.
Yeah, there's more Rush Duel.
I don't know what I'm shooting there.
I don't know either. I don't play Duel Links, but I might have to if they don't fucking bring Rush Duel to the West.
Blue Eyes Dragon only exists in Duel Links.
I mean, that's not true. There's a shitload of people who still play it in Master Duel. It's just, it's the most annoying nothing deck of all time.
I'm referring to Blue Eyes. Specifically, that meme came only from Duel Links.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so, like, I really hope to God that Konami does actually, like, I know she's an Ultra and she's, like, a high-demand card in a fucking secret pack, but, like, She's already limited. Please kill her. Send her to jail. Send her to prison forever. Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't exist in a state where any deck, if it feels like it, can Foolish Burial. Or Foolish Burial goods. That has to be a limited resource that is non-searchable. Or it has to be archetype locked. The game's been around for 25 years. You cannot generically send cards to graveyard. It's not okay. We may also need to ban transaction rollback anyway, but, like, in general, I think we've just reached a point where, like, that's just not a thing we can do. That was the only ban, but a lot of the hits in the OCG are interesting. They've finally put Diabell to 1, Fiendsmith Engraver to 1. They unbanned Masterpiece, the original Masterpiece, the True Draker Slaying King. Not sure why they want to do that. It's like, he's probably not as strong as he used to be because he's only like 2950 or whatever, but he's real annoying. Why did we do that? Poplar to 1, Chundra to 1. Phantom of Yubel to 1. But, hey, holy shit, I may get to play this in Master Duel soon. We've finally done it, chat. We've realized that Dark Dragoon is not that good of a card. He wasn't that good of a card to begin with, but the OCG has finally realized that he wasn't actually that good. Limit 1. It's been 10,000 years. Is Red Eyes Fusion still Limit 1 in the OCG? No, they did actually fix that. Thank God. That was also considering how fucking shitty Red Eyes Fusion is. And I know that's wild to say because when it came out in 2016, it was revolutionary, but it's been almost 10 years, chat. Red Eyes Fusion sucks. They're also doing other weird things where, like, I feel like the OCG is, like, trying to hit decks that are good now. Like I said earlier, they limited Phantom of Yubel to 1. But they're also, like, trying to unban really busted cards and decks to see if maybe that works, too. Because they put Dryden back to 1. I guess, like, if Barrage is still banned, like, Dryden's at 1 in Master Duel, and I don't think Zodiac decks are tearing it up. They've limited Bonfire completely. It was semied. Now it's completely limited. It may stay that way forever, like Rhoda. I don't know. Fiendsmith Track to 1. The OCG finally unbanned Snatch Steal to 1. That makes sense. That's been put there. Also, by the way, I'm reading this website. It actually lists how many of each card type are in each category. I love this. I wish that they would actually say this in the TCG. There are 84 forbidden cards in the OCG. There are 81 limited cards. There are 24 semi-limited cards. And they added, like, half that number.
They don't need to be that many.
No, they don't. Also, hello, Vesper. I was talking about the OCG ban list because I think that happened in the past couple of weeks because we skipped a week. Which has interesting implications. Dark Dragoon to 1, for instance, may mean that I can actually play Red Eyes again in Master Duel eventually, I hope, because that may actually do something. Slash Dragon doesn't do anything. He's terrible. I know he did stuff in Duel Links, that's it.
I'm going to assume the Cucaracha has already been mentioned.
No, because that's in the semi-limit. I haven't talked about it, but yes, new in semi-limit, Maxi to 2. Obviously not perfect, but this is something they did do with SP Little Knight in the OCG like 6 months ago. They put her to 2, and everybody was like, you already didn't run 3. Why are you putting it to 2? Well, the next ban list, like 3 months later.
It's the OCG signaling to the OCG players, unlike how Magic does when they ban cards.
Yeah. Now
I'm
it's
more
like,
annoyed that they kind of just melted in the committee because there was so much screaming.
I mean, yes, it's bad because that means that the loud people win. But also, if you're a fucking volunteer committee to run a format, technically, which is official but unofficial, like Wizards didn't actually operate Commander, but they printed Commander product, and you're getting death threats because for some reason our world has no justice, and I feel like the ones who should be living in fear for their lives are people who view children's card games as investment portfolios. Those are the kind of people that we should think to ourselves, you don't deserve to live in this earth. I'd love to melt down your biomass and try and turn it into something useful. But we don't. Those people instead have money and apparently are loud enough to get the rules committee to fold it in. So, like, I don't blame them. I think it's not good for Magic, and I feel like the Magic people who caused this problem deserve to lie in this hole.
it is the worst thing possible for Magic the Gathering, but also this is what we call divine retribution.
Yeah, it's like they fucked around and they found out. Or will find out, I guess. Technically, nothing's happened besides just...
Elaborate, because I only saw the announcement about the committee.
Not
Okay.
that we're Magic the Gathering podcast, but in shortest terms, the Commander Ruling Committee set out a lot of these bans of cards that, the simplest way to describe them, they're extremely fast ramp cards that are designed to homogenize every deck to having a Soul Ring, a Black Lotus, a card that just gives them infinite recursion to make them the best deck. And the ruling committee said these cards are not fun, and that we are going to ban them. And the people who threw a giant fit over it are as Omega said, the investment bros who see these cards as $300 investments. They're it's NFT bros in essence.
They are cards that were highly valued, and even for Commander, like for Magic, were highly valued. Commander being a casual format, which I think is usually lower cost. They were higher value.
I believe at least one of the cards that was banned was a $300 card, and in Magic, now in Commander, it is Highlander, where it's one copy of each. But these people, these people own many copies of them because they're an investment, like they're baseball cards, like this Mickey Mantle rookie card is gonna sell for $5 billion on the market when I do sell it. Trust me.
Also, no, it's not just your end. OBS did buffer for a little bit. We're not using our visual medium just yet, so it's fine to get the goop out of the way. I think it's stable now. It's stopped dropping frames. But yeah, no. So it's a thing where and hypothetically, the idea is that if you decide to stop playing Magic, you can just sell your cards and get out. But if you're running a micro hustle on card investment, when do you ever actually sell your cards? When do you figure out the value is peaked? For Yu-Gi-Oh, the peak value is pre-sale prices. You should not pay pre-sale prices for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They are grossly overinflated and will go down. They may not be good, but they will go down when the product actually comes out. But they have this process, right, where hypothetically, yeah, you just de-invest yourself and you can move your money somewhere else. But now that they're banned, there's no interest in these.
Yeah, and granted, these cards are still $100 because I believe they are still currently standard playable, but they dropped from $300, $400 to a quarter of that. And these people who bought these cards at full price, at max price, are like, you can't do this to me. I have thousands of dollars in the secondhand market. Like you've killed me. I'm like you've killed me. You can't do this. And so all these people got together and sent death threats, and they bullied this third party ruling committee into going, all right, fuck you guys. It's going to Wizards now. Good luck.
And that's some of them hadn't been reprinted in a while, but also that means they were old and people had been saying some of these cards should go for years. But Commander is famously a very casual format. It literally, the way it was designed as a community format before Wizards started officially supporting it, is they make Rule 0 very clear in that, hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to follow the rules. But it's one of those things where cards have these issues, and we'll see what's up. And I do want to chat earlier. There's a comment. Oh, well, investors buy product and open them, so the price of bulk and lower rarity goes down. No, they don't. Bulk is always cheap. Bulk's bulk. Most card stores will open a number of packs themselves to fish for a few singles, because I do think there is a respectable market for singles. Just because some people are not going to want to rip packs and stuff. So it's open-ended. But I don't think that like I said, third-party bros, fishing on their investments, some of whom aren't actively selling these. They're just like, oh, this card in my binder is worth, X number of dollars. Like, they're not necessarily trying to flip these at high prices. Some do, but not everybody does.
I can 99% guarantee you that that just about everybody who was complaining were not selling those cards. They were sitting on them like hoarders and apocalypse preppers who go, man, this stuff will have value eventually. Eventually, I'll sell it.
And like I said,
they never will.
And I want to say this: I think there's a separate argument. No, I'm pretty well. I mean, I'm not plugged into Magic, so I can't be sure. But I saw several people talking about this ban list where it was a card that was named something like Mana Crypt or Mana Vault. They were like, yeah, that card's old. It probably should have got already. The Soul Ring is very interesting, and I have a talk about that I've seen from other people. A lot of people don't like that card, but that's in official Wizards pre-constructed decks, and I feel like the Rules Committee was worried about Wizards muscling them out prior to this ban list and then deciding to leave on their own, because if they hit a card that was in official Wizards pre-con products, that might actually be like poking the bear,
Basically, ever since they started printing Commander decks officially, Soul Ring has been in every single pre-con Commander deck, and it's Upstart Goblin in essence, and it's like, it's a one of in Commander, it's unfun, but also,
But I want to say, I if we're concerned about the price of bulk and low rarity, which usually doesn't actually matter. Like, it generally, those prices are affordable because, like I said, not just investors, but third-party sellers, people who actually want to move the high-quality product. And you can argue some of them are a little scalpy, but at the very least, they are interested in selling, moving the product. They will still rip packs, stores will still rip packs, and I think there's a separate argument where we can have this thought where we can be like, we want better product that has better bulk, better low rarity pulls, the rarity spread is better, so that we, the consumer, feel safer opening them on our own, or that stores and other third-party sellers, like the actual secondhand market, not just the investment schemifiers, feel okay to move product. I think there is room for that, and those two things can exist at the same time. The idea of people treating card games like an investment opportunity, like a asset you invest in and you sit on for 20 years and then you sell when it has maximum value, which is stupid. There's no guarantee Magic the Gathering is going to be around in 20 years. Wizards is a company that feels like they are one bad press day away from just exploding.
Ironically, it's not. Yeah. It's more one press day from Hasbro eating them whole, I guess.
They treat it like a stock market when it's a card game.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, that it's not a safe investment, even if you think it is. And I don't know how. I assume it was some kind of, investment portfolios and, bankers and accountants who tried to make guys think that is. Or it is just, like Vesper said earlier, bleed over from the baseball card zone. But, I don't think we should cater to those people, and that those are the voices that should be heard. And also, I think we can have better sets, better product that you feel more comfortable opening, and that third-party resellers feel more safe in moving and getting access to the cards. And the prices go down. I think both of those things can exist. This is a weird thing where, I think Twitter... Go ahead, finish that, because I have a separate thought.
I kind of want to end off this sidebar of MTG Investment Bros with the one moment that lives rent-free in my head, which was MBT going over a Reddit thread that was deleted of an investment bro legitimately asking, will Roe v. Raid have an effect on girly Magic cards because women will no longer be allowed to get abortions or whatever the fuck I'm sure Roe v. Raid's the wrong one, but
it was about that. Because it was about abortion. It's
yeah. And that is the level of psychological brain rot that his investment bros are on.
Yeah, I don't think that's every guy, but
do not believe them. Do not give them any legitimacy.
I'm sorry, guys, but like that literally sounds like someone I think that has only looked at Robinhood and their fucking like stock market portfolio every morning.
Yes, no, like that. I want to be. This person is not a normal functional human, but this is the kind of thing that happens when people develop their hyperfixation on card game investments. We should encourage those people to seek different hobbies. I know I talked about, rendering down their biomass to make tar or something, find something useful with them. But no, like, actually, these people need a different outlet. This is not good for them. It's not good for the people who want to play a card game. Like I said, I don't think it's a safe investment. Anyway, sorry. This was all because Max C to 2, by the way.
Yes.
But there's a shitload of semi-limits in the OCG, which are crazy. Pank to 2, Ava to 2, Terror Top to 2, Luster Pendulum to 2. They're putting MX Saber Invoker to 2. That's
an interesting one to me.
Yeah,
but also we're in the days of Cold Fusion, so maybe 2 Invoker will just be funny.
Yeah, they're putting Branded Opening back to 2. It's interesting. Fusion Destiny's going back to 2. We've realized that the DPE Dread Zone is not there. Gold Sark to 2. This has to be a push for Malice. Like, that's fucking crazy. Gold Sark to 2. Semi-limited Nightmare Throne, still working on those ones. And semi-limited Gozen Match, nice try, OCG. Like, that'll fucking work. And they took 11 cards off the list. They finally unlimited all the rulers. All the dragon rulers are unlimited. Spiral Quick Fix is unlimited. Plush Fire is unlimited because it has the errata. They've taken Zeus back to 3. I assume that's because they're trying to buff Pearly, because they also put my friend Pearly to 3, mi amigo.
Mi amigo.
And I guess the OCG had both Raigeki and Lightning Storm at 2. That's unlimited. Thank you. I understand that you put, like, 9 more cards on the semi-limit list, but thank you for taking those off the semi-limit list. That doesn't fucking do anything. Malice is going to be a good deck, and I'm happy for it. Malice looks rad. I joked about this somewhere else on a subreddit. When I'm hoping that Mimighoul and Malice don't hit Master Duel at around the same time, because my gems will cry, because I want to play the shit out of both of those decks. Mimighoul is unfortunately a big coin flip because it is a world premiere archetype, so, like, they did, like, all of Tistina not that long ago, which was, like, pretty close up, but I don't know, man.
I definitely make it back into Master Duel from Mimighoul, because that just looks so cool. It looks so fun.
It looks so fun. And it's, like I said, it's good. It's so weird that, like, I said this when Mimighoul Charm was shown. I was like, well, all of the cards that we already got are something. So, like, if this is literally the worst card, we're probably fine. Hey, it turns out Mimighoul Charm was literally the worst card. I know some people are kind of not set on Fork, but I'm like, but Fork says draw 2. I remember what you'll do to draw 2.
When I read Mimighoul Charm, I'm like, this is a funny card. Like I really like the concept of just steal a bunch of stick monsters. It's funny.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's just one of those things of, like, it has problems that I don't like. Why is it mandatory? Why do you have to special summon the monster? You only get out of it if it's legally not allowed to be special summoned. Yeah, no. Very talking about punk plays. Yeah, no, it's out there. The other bit of news that's OCG focused that I do want to bring up is interesting. The OCG is doing another one of those, like, holiday era boxes with 3 themes in them. And they've announced very interesting ones. Speaking of punk, they've officially said that the 3 archetypes, which will include reprints and new cards, Dragon Maid, Punk, Orchist. So that could be very interesting. They did not say for sure how many new cards, but it's going to be 60 cards total in the set. And they're going to have acrylic, like, standees and shit. They're going to have merch and, like, special card clears, and they'll offer you card protectors and stuff. It's like the box they did that had, like, became Magnificent Mavens and stuff like that. So That'll probably get turned into a side set in the TCG. We'll have to see what stuff they get put in there. But those are good themes to refresh. Like, Dragon Maid is a deck that was good in the OCG, but not in the TCG for a really long time. Though certain, like, parts of Dragon Maid were good for Dragon Link, which has also been an all-good standby. It's one of those decks that's, like, probably pretty close to being good. I made a Maid Ruler's Brew for Master Duel that was pretty fun for, like, lower ladder levels. It's still a little squiggly, but it's got potential, right? So, you know, at the very least, hopefully we'll get Chambers Dragon Form and maybe get some more play in there. Give us a field spell maybe we can search. Punk is another deck that's just, like, super sick and fun. It goes in so many places. I played... I forgot the name of it for a second. Punk Gold Pride for, like, a season in Master Duel. Very solid deck. A lot of fun. Love spending life points. And Orcust is really interesting because, like, that was, you know, that's a toss pillar. That's a classic deck that was real good and then got pared down. And this doesn't quite cut it these days, but could with some support. And some combos that Orcust do can be a little annoying, but, like, most of their drive is just, like, getting out a Dingirsu and, like, a Crescendo and stuff. And I'm like, honestly, that's not that bad. Like, I think all of those have potential, so we'll look forward to those careers with interest. But as usual, we've managed to
Fap about.
yeah, we've yapped for almost 30 minutes, our usual. But like I said, we took a week off, so we had to catch up. Loth is currently consuming a lozenge because he has had a little coof for a little bit, but he doesn't have the coof. He's tested negative for COVID.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
And
This lozenge is also an anesthetic.
Ooh, fancy lozenge.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was. Was there a stream at all last
No,
week?
I could have, like, played Duelist Cup, but I was just like, nah, man, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. So I had stickers on my back until yesterday. That was fun. That was really nice.
Well, I'm glad you're good. Got
Yeah.
out there.
The sleep I had last night was fucking refreshing.
Nice.
Being able to just not feel pain in my back the entire time I'm trying to lay down.
So, chat, let us discuss one of the weirdest own goals of naming that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever done. I don't know how they haven't just untangled themselves, but they haven't. Welcome to Roids. So in the poll and in other places, I call this Vehicroid because it's harder to, like, differentiate this, but Vehicroid is technically a sub-theme of this theme because only some of their fusion monsters are called Vehicroid or Super Vehicroid. For some reason,
Vehicroid is what they're collectively called in, like, GX, I believe. Like that is kind of like their catch-all term, but in the card game, they're just Roids.
Yeah, they just haven't done anything to unfuckle the naming, which means that Roids have some of the weirdest callouts ever. Because their name in the OCG, they're called this because they just are called Roido. Like, they just use the word Roid. Which already caused problems with several cards, such as Elemental Hero Necroid Shaman, that has always been an overlap, Dark Geroid.
Dark Geroid's the funniest one in that you can still have applications in some Roid support.
Yeah, some cards do work for it. Later, the classic Synchro Monster Magical Android. And also, somehow, why did you call it this? You could have called it something else, but Salamangreat Zebroid X. This is technically a Roid monster.
And a few series later, we would go on to have a revamping of the Roids. One of my personal favorite archetypes ever, the Speedroids, that are solely Wind Machine Roids.
A much cooler deck.
A much better deck, because it's synchros and not fusions. But because of them, now every new Roid support has to explicitly name check non-Wind Machine Roids.
which is wild because there are already Vehicroids, which are wind machines. It's so silly. Some roids got around this by being machine only, but then for speedroids, those are all machines until they become dragons. It's like I said, Roid has the weirdest like history of Konami own goals of just like refusing to write themselves out of this problem. The TCG managed to fix cards like Axe of Despair, Summon Skull, right, with just parentheticals. Konami, you need to bite the bullet, reprint all of these fuckers, figure out what you're doing with Shuttle Roid, if you have to change the name so it's not Shuttle Roid, because it's not just the fact that it looks like a shuttle. Armoroid is also a space shuttle, but it's called something different. So, like, call it Space Plane Roid if you have to.
It's the same bizarreness of what is it?
Air Neos. We
Air
still don't know
Neos,
what's up with
where
Air
we-
Neos.
We legitimately we have no clue why it has never re-existed.
Because like
No, it is because it's something involving, I think, like
No, that's not real.
Oh,
Like,
oh, no,
everyone
it's
knows
there's
it's
involving,
no
not
definitive proof. There is an Italian airline named Air Neos, but there should be no like copyright or trademark overlap with the card game. Because it wouldn't even be called like Air Neos literally in Italian, I think.
Like this to have one very 2-second sidebar. This was also relevant last week because of Pokemon having a whole a lawsuit aimed towards Pal World and and how copyright law should not work that way. But that's a whole other rabbit hole to get down. We have Roids to talk about.
Yeah, and we do have a few of them, but yeah, like what they should probably do to like, because I think because Speedroids exist and are a good deck, I don't think regular Roids can ever truly excel because they're gonna have to cut out the wind element or just accept that you can crossplay them with Speedroid, and Konami doesn't want to do that for some reason, so we're in a weird space where I think they need to like, if they want this archetype to actually be good ever, which admittedly, I don't think anybody is like super in demand for that, but they have to like do a proper unfucking of this deck. I'm not even going to bother doing these in chronological order. I arranged them last week in alphabetical order, starting with main decks, going to extra decks, because there's more fusions than you're thinking. Did also put all of their valid spell trap support in there as well. So we're just going to start going down the line, chat, and you will immediately understand what this archetype is, like thematically, the moment you see the first one, even if you somehow have missed all of these cards, because they are GX standbys. Our first one, Ambulance Roid. Also, by the way, the OCG naming is very funny in that they keep the Roid part, and like that's the part that's the stuck up, because Ambulance Roid in the OCG is QQ Roido, which also means Ambulance Roid, but like the ambulance part's in Japanese. It's very, very funny that they, like I said, there's just a cavalcade of errors.
I believe QQ itself just means rescue, but
yeah. Like it's and there may be a second word for the rescue part. And they do some other puns later we'll talk about with the fusions. But yeah, this is Ambulance Roid. It's an ambulance that is a funny cartoon car. That's it. That's what we got.
Look at him.
Hey guys, have you seen the movie Cars?
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. I think it also reminds me of, well, very specifically, I have to be honest, intellectually honest with you, chat. It reminds me of the Toontown level in Kingdom Hearts 2 with the car Heartless. But because of that, it in general gives me the vibes of like very old-timey, black and white cartoons. Like with like the actually standing up on its rear tires and having its front tires be the arms, there's not a lot to say about Ambulance Roid. It's an ambulance that's a semi-anthropomorphic guy. He's a little cartoon guy. That's it. He's in an action shot, which is like, I get what they're going for. My problem is that like they try to do a lot of these action shots, and I'm like, none of these guys are that cool. All of these guys are like little weenie baby monsters, and like don't have good effects, even for GX. If anybody knows off the top of their head, chat, go ahead and sound off if you know. What's Cyrus Truesdale's win rate in GX? I think it's bad.
I don't remember, but I
It's not the worst, but I think it's bad.
It is actually not as bad as people remember, because Cyrus is the single character. Despite having a subpar win rate, he's like the one character in the entire series who climbs the ladder of dorm rooms. I do remember.
He goes up a little. He passes all his tests.
I'd have to look into it. I had to find the exact combo of cards, but I do remember. I believe Ambulance Roid, or at least the fusion of Ambulance Rescue Roid, plays a part. Yeah. Okay, so I was right. Ambulance Roid's sole crowning moment in the anime is when he performs an infinite loop against Mr. Dino DNA, I believe.
Yeah. And yes, this card can do that. So Ambulance Roid is a Earth machine, level 3. It's got 300 attack, 1200 defense. Sucks butts. But it does say, when a Roid monster, this is any Roid, by the way. This is pre we were making differentiation. When a Roid monster is added from your graveyard to your hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon it. There is no once per turn on this. So if you can recover your Roids, which I'm sure there are chainable loops you can do. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I'm sure we'll see them when we go deeper in the cards. That just happens, and it does work with non-machine, non-wind Roids. So, like, I think I've even heard about it. Like, I don't think it's good, but I do believe that, like, Ambulance Roid has been played in Speedroid decks as, like, a really weird, funny tech option.
I have found the wiki page with the
Chad is reporting, yes,
infinite loop.
That he's 5th overall out of the core characters with a 64% win rate.
Immediately after, we have a 41.6% win rate in the chat.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure with those.
A couple differences, they 50-50. So not bad for a supporting character in a Yu-Gi-Oh series where for the most part you 90% of the time you job.
Yeah, I'm about to say most of them are jobbers. It's
the salty run back.
It's funny to me. I've been just because I've needed to kill time while doing other stuff. I've been while I've been playing TCG Card Shop Simulator, a game on Steam you should check out, free demo available now. But I've been re-listening to Save Data Team Save Data Bio, and I'm in the middle of their second episode, which is on the first half of the tuning exams, which is where one of the hosts gets real heavy with his use of wrestling terminology. But it's so funny about how, like, yes, well, because
it fits all places.
I actually commented on that video where I'm like, I'm stealing that. I'm just gonna refer to that now when anime characters just fucking hype themselves or other people up. That's cutting a promo, because that's what it is. Like, the fucking the whole thing stops so that they can buff them out, and I'm just like, no, he's cutting a promo. That is what he's doing.
You guys know that, like, there's an Ouroboros between wrestling and anime, right?
Well, that's what I was about to say.
As somebody who has been watching wrestling religiously for the past handful of months, that is just like what they are doing is a promo segment. They are. But they are talking hot.
I don't think people think about this because, like, people who are not, like, wrestling pilled I don't think realize how much, like, the idea of wrestling isms has gotten into general pop culture. But also, like, I think a lot of anime does actually take its cues from pro wrestling, because pro wrestling is also very big in Japan, and it's the kind of simplicity of, like, storytelling that really works. Like, you've got faces, you've got heels, you do turns, you know, you cut promos, and Yu-Gi-Oh series are usually very bad about the comparison when it comes to, like, jobbing and putting over the characters. People who are not the protagonist but are in the friend circle usually suck. They usually exist so that we can hype up villains, and they get fucking clobbered.
Which is the literal old school wrestling booking mantra of you introduce the heel, like your new monster heel. You have him ravish the mid card. You have him ravish all these guys who are not like you haven't start off with a few squash matches. He takes this jobber guy who's he's notable with the fans. Like he's fine, but he's never going to be a main eventer. He squashes up the card to become the challenger for your Hulk Hogan, your Superman.
Yeah.
And but I will say, to be controversial, everyone points to Hokuto no Ken and JoJo as the prime examples of shonen. It's Kinnikuman. It is Kinnikuman. Like Kinnikuman and Hajime no Ippo, both of which are sports based manga, are the pure formula of what modern manga and anime are.
I mean, honestly, I don't think people should say that JoJo is an archetypal anything, because Bizarre's right in the name. JoJo's weird.
It's intentionally weird.
We
actually.
love Araki for
weird.
it, but Araki himself is nah, man, I'm gonna do weird shit. He's written a book about his process, and it's
I still think people should take photos of JoJo of being you should have storylines where it can be legacy, where you can actually choose to end and try again in your own.
Well, and also I think that to sidebar about Araki a little bit, he talks in his book about, because he talks about rising action. You should always, you should avoid showing your protagonist in a falling state for very long. When you're ready to do the climax, you should have it always be rising, always be going up. And then he literally has a sidebar which is now you may think me killing the original JoJo in part 1 is falling. You're wrong. You're stupid. He's actually winning when he does that. Even though he dies, he wins. And I'm just
proved he was
right,
the moral
though.
person.
You're right, though.
I mean,
he actually did win.
The end of part 1 is even though he is dying, he is taking Dio with him. And yes, retcons in part 3, but Jonathan, as of part 1's ending, he won that. Even though he died, he won.
It's also It's also the thing of basically, because Jonathan was such a good person, that you're supposed to take the idea of anyone of his legacy shares his heroism.
Yeah. And I think other parts do stuff, but we're not here to rehash the seminal work of Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die.
But I just want to say a thing that about over 12 minutes ago.
Go for it. We're yappers. Go for it.
Chris mentioned this in chat, but it's a sad thing of how actually a lot of GX characters their decks are just, I think, designed to be worse because they're supposed to be not comparable to the higher end DM decks.
Well, this is something I talked about with Dallas off mic during the one day a week I can find Dallas when we play Rain. Check out Rain if you want more Dallas. But we lucky had to pop out, so we had 30 extra minutes of yapping. But I talked to him a little about how old school Yu-Gi-Oh is very weird. And Axe, you were there for this because you talked about how
it's kind of faded because my memories
starts at the 5Ds era, and I kind of agree because
I think
the
actually
Duel
realized
of
vision
Monsters era is very chaotic and is full of banned cards because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were just making shit up, it wasn't supposed to be balanced.
It started as a Magic. It started as a Magic equivalent.
And the decks there were weird mishmatches of power cards and vague themes. GX, we actually start to invent the concept of an archetype, but I think that Konami and the writers at the anime and manga department literally wrote it to be a step down in power than Duel Monsters. I think they were actually going man, Chaos Turbo and some of the other decks we've had in our dev cycle for the pre-GX era are really strong. We need to step that down because all of our giga powerful cards are being banned. We need to rotate it down. So yeah, I actually think a lot of GX characters are deliberately designed to be crappier. I think it works a little with the themes because I feel at first especially GX is set up as an extra underdog story. Yugi is not actually Yugi Moto is. Atem is not an underdog. Atem is the fucking boogeyman,
Atem is a horror villain.
Yeah, basically, he is the fucking he is the Undertaker of children's card games. Like, that guy shows up and you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna die for real. You know, like, it's a different kind of heat. Whereas with GX, like, literally Slifer slackers, you know, they're all supposed to be underdogs. Chaz only gets cool when he gets his ass beat and he becomes, you know, a rebel without a cause. It's so, like,
Yeah.
Actually, no,
levels
he has
are very
rebel with a
different.
cause.
Well,
It's
eventually
to
becomes.
become the Ojama Mafia.
That guy's such a great character arc. Anyway, I've pulled up Armoroid, by the way. Armoroid's name, let me check trivia to see if I understand it. In the OCG, it's Armoroid Gaidengo, which is not translated, so I think it might just be a word. Yeah, no, there's no clarification on why it's called Gaidengo. But yeah, like, so I do want to say, actually, somebody did bring this up. This is why I think we're saying that I think Cyrus has a surprising win rate. It's because while he does job occasionally, he was usually the heart. He was usually moral support. When we want to show how serious a villain is, we do the Worf effect. That's right. There's a trope name for this. We do the Worf effect, right? We throw out Chaz or Zane because those guys are supposed to be good, and they get fucking clowned on, and you're like, oh shit, this guy's for real. But yeah, Armoroid. It's a mecha that is also a space shuttle. This is perfectly fine. Again, I feel like there's a lot of like, and it's weird because I don't think it's baked into Cyrus's character at all. Though admittedly, like, my own rewatch of GXs, I've only ever gone through like the first like season or so. But like, I don't think that Cyrus has like a retro mecha or animation nerd vibe, but a lot of his cards do.
Doesn't. Well, it's a thing with Roids where like a lot of main deck Roids are just kind of like slightly anthropomorphized machines, but when it gets to his fusion deck, all of a sudden he has giant Gundams and Sentai mechas.
Yeah,
Which,
and this one already is like, this is straight up a Transformer.
Yeah,
edging on like a Sentai mech.
I guess that is like the ultimate evolution of anthropomorphized robot vehicles, but it is still an odd jump.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the kind of thing where like if I was writing those characters, that would be part of the gimmick. Like, I would use that for pathos between him and his brother, that like before Zane became a tryhard with a, at the time, arguably meta, you know, turbo beatdown deck. This is before he also started doing an obvious analog for drugs.
Card.
But like the thing should have been that like, yeah, shot collar death matches, which feels like a metaphor for substance abuse in some way. It's real fucked up, man. GX, like I said, despite the lower power
honestly,
level,
it more feels like a reference to like Russian roulette kind of games.
Yeah, but like I would have like put a heavier emphasis that like when they were like little kids, they used to like watch, you know, shitty mecha cartoons together, and like that was a bond point. And then like Zane got away from that when he went to school and became a tryhard, and Cyrus like didn't. So it shows that he's like immature, but also he's got that, you know, that something. OBS reconnection successful. Sorry about that, chat. We're back. I don't know how much of that was lost, but I was going to say that, like, it is a character foil situation where, like, he's supposed to be goofy and his brother is, like, super serious, bordering on incredibly edgy later on. But it still is, like, but then we get, like, Armoroid, which I do believe is a manga piece, but still, like,
I believe so.
We just jump into it, you know? And, like, honestly, if Armoroid is a kind of card that I think still might make the cut as a one-of if you were trying to make Roids good today. It's another Earth machine. It's a level 8. It's got 2,700 attack and 2k defense. If this card is tributed summoning by tributing at least one Roid monster, banish all spells and traps on the field. Just get him out of here. Heavy Storm, don't know him. Like, it, so, like, honestly, like, if you're playing where you're not going back row heavy, or you can afford to like bin your field spell or something. That's very vicious. Like tribute summon into a back row wipe that's a banish. Mean. Like he's not terrible. He's a level 8 Earth Machine with a pretty decent stat line. Like could be good. But yeah, it's just like I said, it's interesting to me that we do this aesthetic jump to that's Armoroid is literally a like a like a Megazord from a Sentai show type guy. Like in fact, I'm pretty sure at some point at least one Sentai show has had a mech that is a space shuttle.
I mean, yeah, a Mega Ranger, which or in space, like all of the mechas in that are just spaceships.
Yeah, so like it works. We're going a little retrofied here. This is Carrier Roid or just Navy Roid in the OCG. I do see why they wanted to switch that just in case.
I do believe this one is one of the newer quote unquote like Roid cards, but it's still like at this point old.
Yeah, it was a little later. This is a card that has like no printings for some reason. It was printed in Premium Pack 2 as a secret rare and has not been reprinted since in the TCG. Japan has printed it a couple of times. Like, it's from 2008, so it's not new, but it was very late in their original cycle and is very rare. Which is, again, odd. It also makes me wonder if maybe this is a card that, like, much like Air Neos, we, like, don't want to reprint for some reason. Like, is there a concern in, like, Japan or abroad that printing an aircraft carrier card called Navy Roid is not acceptable for children? I don't know. I think the carrier Roid name switch is fine. Again, not much to talk about aesthetic-wise. It's a guy, it's a boat with a face. I do like that his fists are on the anchor chains. That's funny. And you can tell that it is a like aircraft carrier deck. I kind of wish this was like a shot from up as opposed to from below. But, well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I actually we have anthropomorphized battleships, and that's the thing that's popular in Japan. And also, I believe like there are a couple of U.S. museum ships that have done like Azure Lane or Cancol like branding funnies. And
yeah, I know that Iowa is famous for it.
And guess what? Most sailors who are young men who are encapsulated in metal tubes at sea for long periods of time are just like, our ship is an anime lady. That's rad. Like,
I mean that it's funny how like a lot of I'm not gonna look for the right word, but people who disagree with the idea of anthropomorphizing these old military things, they've been doing that. Like they did that in World War I and II. Like the guys themselves on those ships did it. Like,
well, and there's a reason why it's not universal, because I think ships, for instance, are used with like in German are used with masculine gendering in languages that are gendered, but a lot of languages that do gender things gender ships female. Like in English, we say she when we're talking about a ship, and I think like it's the same in like French. So it's like there's because that's a thing that in languages that artificially use gendered terms have to include. Somebody had to decide the boat is a feminine. But yeah, Carrier Roid is it's got some neat ideas, but I think it could be better art-wise. The water looks pretty good. That's a pretty good water effect they got going on. I'm a little off-put by just how big an anime its eyes are. I have to say it. I don't know why, but it bothers me a little bit. Just a little bit. It's weird.
It is it is a lot.
Yeah. Carrier Roid is unfortunately a card that is not great. It is a water machine level 4, which is neat idea, but it's only got 1,000 attack and 800 defense. And it says when your opponent activates a card effect that targets and destroys a spell or trap card you control, or trap cards, I should say, discard one card, negate that activation, and destroy that card. For like 2008, an interesting level of protection. I don't think Roids are that concerned with their back row to need this kind of spot protection. and it does require you to go minus. So like, it's for the time it was interesting, but I don't know if this is something the deck needed. So like the fact that, like I said, this card hasn't been reprinted in like over 10 years, I don't think is a big deal, but it is weird. Maybe not. So I'm trying to copy my next one. In this one we have our case of a normal monster, because you know we gotta have vanillas. It's GX, gotta have at least one vanilla.
The bike.
Yeah. Sorry, my copy pasting is being weird. Here it is, Psychroid. He's just a cartoon bike, who's also a Cyclops because he's a psych.
I never put that together.
I mean, I assume it could also just be as simple as, like, the artist is like, well, you only have one light on a bike, so it has to have one eye. But he is called Psychroid, Seikuroido, in the OCG, and he is a Cyclops, so...
Makes sense.
Him bike.
Yeah, as a bunch of vanilla cards in early GX did, this card gets an equip spell that can only be used on it. Why? Fuck you. Same as a Sparkman's Spark Blaster and Bubble Man's. Isn't it just Bubble Blaster too?
I think it is the Bubble Blaster. Yeah.
Like we have Spark Blaster and Bubble Blaster, which is probably called Spark Gun in the OCG, but we can't call it a gun.
Also, I want to say, because it was out there, the naming for the speed duel skills that are themed around this deck are fucking unhinged. The like Roid skills are like, the Roids are all right, and Believe in Your Bro is the Jaden Cyrus team up skill. It's literally called Believe in Your Bro. I'm kind of sad that it seems like Speed Duels is going at least on an extended hiatus, possibly being sunset forever, but fucking what? Let me see if I can... Yeah.
I have looked it up. Spark Blaster is Spark Gun. Bubble Blaster is Bubble Shot. And
So
they
that's
just said, nah, you're both Blaster now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I will say that it does seem like, interestingly enough, despite the fact that we've reprinted everything, Training Wheels has never actually been printed.
Yeah, it's in the same vein of like the Clayman Next thing.
Yeah, that we just realized we weren't doing because of like more Metamorphosis. Training Wheels says, equip only to Psychroid. It can attack your opponent directly. If using this effect, remove this card and the equip monster from play after damage calc. Return them to your field during your next standby phase and equip to the return monster. So, like, it gets in a direct attack, which is not really that impressive because Psychroid is a dogshit vanilla. But it does return itself. Honestly, they probably should print this, but just make it equipped to a non-wind Roid, because Psychroid is an Earth. And that would be funny. Because it means that, because Armoroid is an Earth type, you could equip it with Training Wheels, which tickles me, and also your opponent could get punched for 27 directly. But yeah, no. Clayman has a car? God, Clayman is just the best.
Yep. I think everybody but Avion got a like unique equip spell.
No, Avion has one.
He does. Oh.
Yeah, it's his. Isn't that the Avion? Actually, no, that's the trap card. I believe there is.
It's a counter trap, not a. Yeah.
There is. I feel like there was an equip card that only goes to Avion. It may have been late enough that it wasn't necessarily Avian themed, but I think there was one. Because there are like Avion, despite the fact that he is the most dog shit of them, Avion has several cards that are themed around him.
Yeah.
Okay, I may be thinking of Feather Shot, which is the regular spell. I think Parapsychroid also does have the effect. We'll talk about that when we talk about the extra deck.
I forgot about fucking Burst Return, which is the shittiest, just the shittiest card ever. If you control a face-up Persenatrix, return all face-up elements of hero monsters in the field to the hand, except Persenatrix.
Yeah, that was how Jaden got out of his male monsters being fucking mind-controlled.
Well, it was something like, he was fighting against Edo because they were in the E-Hero mirror match, and it was dumb.
Yeah, there was some weird shit. Psych Raid is a vanilla monster we talked about. It's an Earth Machine. It's level 3. It's got 800 attack and 1,000 defense. The most lovable and friendly of all the Vehicroids. It can arm itself with training wheels. No, it can't.
Yeah, that never happened for real, but they exist.
It's part. That astounds me that it's part of the background fluff. Also, yes, no, it was the Blair deck where all the male E-heroes got seduced. And then Burstinatrix was, like, really mad at them, but they were like, ah, shit, Burstinatrix is way hotter. We gotta go.
Literally.
All right. So we're back to effect monsters. It's another just little guy. This is Decoy Roid.
Another part of the infinite loop.
Yeah. I do like that Decoy Roid is called Decoy Roid, and it is called that in the OCG as well. And he's kind of like incognito mode, you know, like he's not up on his back wheels or some shit.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one of those little RC cars, I think, is the idea.
Yeah, because it's got an antenna. It's that or it's a bumper car, but I think it's a little RC car with the antenna because it's called Decoy Roid, and it is very small.
Oh, hey, look, it's Brum.
Also, is that true? Chris Wright saying in chat, Sparkman's married. There's a Spark woman. Why the fuck have you not printed that, Konami? Cowards.
I don't think that the card never existed or had art. It was just like a one-off line in the dub, like, "Well, Spark woman's gonna be mad at me." Like when he gets passed back to the hand. It's just some like weird one-off dubism.
TCG exclusive. Come on.
Yeah.
We did Heat and Lady Heat. We can do Spark Woman. Vanilla Sparkman already has it rough as it is. Sorry, now I'm just imagining Sparkman doing the "I miss my wife" Tails meme. Anyway, not a lot to say about Decoy Roid because he doesn't have a lot of extra detail, but I like him. He's a little red car. And I do like this. In this case, the speed lines are very funny to me because it's just like, "Ba-da!" Look at him. Go ahead.
An RC car, isn't it?
Yeah. It's probably an RC.
Yeah, we said that.
This is one of those cases where that whole blocking out wins is actually kind of weird. Because this is a wind machine. This is a level 2 wind machine. It's got 300 attack and 500 defense. While this card's face up on your field, your opponent can't select a face-up monster in an attack target except Decoy Roid. So it's not a Marauding Captain lock because it doesn't say this card, but it is a attack distractor. So we got some room in there. Now I'm gonna blow your minds, chat. Are you ready to see what late era Roid support looks like? Because we're gonna blow into, I think, a couple of years ago. Let me check how old this card is. But it is Alphabetical. Yeah, Brothers of Legend, 2021. So like 3 years old. It was mentioned earlier because it was in the anime like way before this. What are we doing here? Right click. Copy image. This is like the second time I've been like 90% sure. That's small, sorry. I've clicked copy image and it is not copied. Please help me out here, keyboard.
No.
It's Dragonroid.
Oh, that one. This one 4.
I don't get it. It's goofy as hell.
That fucker is not a vehicle. It's not a vehicle.
Yeah. He's a dragon. I mean, what's it for? It's for the bullshit with Cyberdarks.
Oh, wait, hold on. I see what looks like a little handle on the back and maybe a saddle or seat on his back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a little kitty roid. Like a kitty ride. he looks kind of silly.
Maybe one of those things that's like, yeah. Ugh, sorry.
But yeah, no, the card exists for Cyberdark shenanigans. It's the definition of a like weird anime one-off card, which is why it didn't get printed until the Animation Chronicle in the OCG for like I said, like until only a few years ago. I don't know if it's a lunchbox. It may be like a toy. Like I can imagine it being like a little like posable guy you pick up. But yeah, it's just weird. It's not bad. It's just weird. I don't know if I like him. So this is also why, by the way, the whole Wind Roid thing is also kind of dumb. Dragon Roid, Wind Machine, level 8, 2900 attack, 1000 defense. Once per turn, if this card's in the graveyard, you can make it become a dragon monster in your graveyard until the end of this turn. Again,
well, that's how you get around it. He stops being a machine.
Yeah. You can discard this card, activate one of these effects, add a non-wind Roid monster from your deck to your hand, so he doesn't have to exclude himself, because he doesn't count. This turn, the activation of your cards or effects that include the fusion summon of a fusion monster cannot be negated. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in a fusion when a monster is fusion summoned this way. You can use each effective Dragon Roid once per turn. I'm glad that this card was not being printed as, like, actual legacy support, because he sucks ass. The point that he becomes a dragon in the graveyard is because he's supposed to have this effect where he counts as a dragon because he is called Dragon Roid, because it means that you can equip him to Cyber Dark Dragon and stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to be some weird kind of like hybrid Cyber Dark stuff, but also you really can't really do much Cyber Dark stuff in Roids.
And yeah, so the fact that, like, the way you get it into the graveyard is it has a discard effect, which is good. You discard it to search a non-wind Roid, which does unfortunately exclude some good cards like Dragon Roid itself. And then, or you can just make it so you can't negate fusion summons and can't activate card effects. We already have cards that do that are much better. It's called Invocation and Magical Meltdown.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, we also just have like most modern fusion spells just kind of have that built in sometimes too.
Yes, Super Poly, can't be responded to, like, already existed. So, like, and like I said, they didn't actually mean this to be legacy support. It was printed originally in the Animation Chronicle, which is a set the OCG has been doing for a few years, which is just, hey, there's a lot of weird cards from the anime we just haven't printed. What if we just printed those for the nostalgia factor just to get them out of the way so you stop asking? Konami still refuses to actually print the anime cards everybody's asking for. Armor. But, yeah, this wasn't printed because somehow this was a card that Konami realized, wait a minute, this card only exists for a very niche, weird, one-off anime interaction. Why would we print that? When most of the time Konami goes, oh, a card that exists for a weird one-off anime interaction? Gotta print it. So it took them a while. But like I said, it's not really relevant. I think you would probably play it for the discard and search effect in modern Roids, but it is a very awkward card to run back. Now let's talk about a card which is very unsettling to look at up close, but is a solid guy who you've probably seen. It's Drill Roid.
This guy's been around forever.
He does stuff.
Yeah.
He's one of the Roid monsters that saw any amount of competitive play.
Yes.
He does one thing and he does it well.
This guy, I feel safe saying, this guy is the Grand Mole of Roids. Like, this is the guy who actually does something that is good in other decks. Not as good as Grand Mole, I think, but, like, he's kind of exists in that space. I don't like looking at him up close. I don't know why.
In the era of GOAT format, where there was a critical mass of flip monsters that had not, I wouldn't say game breaking effects, but match defining effects, where, like, oh, if that's a Moth and they get Darkhold back, I lose, or Pot of Greed or something.
A critical amount of annoying effects.
Yeah.
When flipping mattered. So Druid takes care of that.
Match determinative is what. Yeah. Match determinative, like, effects.
Yes. I'm centering in. I think it's his teeth. His teeth are curved, but not in the way that like
Yeah.
humans' teeth are curved. Yeah, Grounded from Sonic called it. It's true. This guy is literally that guy from Sonic. He's even got like a weird fin on his back. But yeah, I mean, he's a drill. He exists in a classic Yu-Gi-Oh like weird card dimension. It kind of looks like they're trying to draw him doing a Super Saiyan power-up, but I think he's just supposed to be like bursting forth from the earth because he's Drill Roid. But like, that's fine. It's classic.
He's clearly in Dig Dug.
Drill Roid is an Earth machine who's level 4, who actually has, for an effect that's good, like, has a stat block that's good for a level 4. He's 16/16. One of the mightiest normal summonable guys without a tribute we've seen so far. And it says, before damage calc, if this card attacks a defense position monster, destroy that monster. So, good for getting rid of annoying walls. Like, this guy gets over 2k defenders. Not that those guys were relevant even in, you know, Cybernetic Revolution. Like, the set which
What?
arguably killed, you know, is killing goats. But,
So I did not know this.
yeah.
This guy got a fucking secret rare print in Speed Duel.
Yeah, and I think that's fair
Yeah.
for speed duels. I think this guy is I mean, he was also a common, but they gave him a rarity bump as well, and I'm like, no, I think that works. Like, for speed duel,
Yeah.
this guy could be pretty good. For a
It was in the midterm paradox set.
yeah, which was a decent attempt. I think it was good of them to move on to GX rather than linger in Battle City forever. I am kind of disappointed they didn't try to get more out of GX. Like, I think they got a decent number of the main characters, but like there were probably some side decks they probably could have milked it for a little bit more. But you know, they rock him out. Like I said, I think he deserves it. You want to talk about a card who doesn't deserve a high rarity printing? It's time for our next one. And which, I mean, it's not terrible because I'm sure because I believe he is part of the loop as well. But it's definitely like, man.
Is it
Cards.
is it the other half of the rescue
It is
combo?
Express Roid.
Oh, Express Roid.
Yeah,
I mean, Express Roid. People harp on it, but this guy was unironically a normal summon in some Speed Roid decks.
Yeah, because it's like the Ambulance Roid move where, like, the fact that this is pre the kind of, like, breakup of the Roids, this guy doesn't even say machine-type Roids, you know? It gives him
He
potential.
just has
to be
Roids.
Yeah. Express Roid, and again, we don't need to talk too much about him. Though I will say, they try to specifically say in the wiki this is the Shinkansen. I don't know if that's a coloring thing. I think he's just like it's called Express Roid in the OCG as well. I think it's just any kind of express train vibe. But because he's kind of cartoony, but he's an express train. Despite that, he is an Earth machine still. And he's level 4. He's got 400 attack and 1600 defense. Pretty bad. But when this card is summoned, period, target 2 Roid monsters in your graveyard except Express Roid, add them back to your hand. So obviously this means if you combo this with Rescue Roid, you get to resummon them.
You know what? I am looking at the specific model they say it's based off of. I can see it.
Okay, so like they have a reason for it. All right, in the
Like,
deeper.
it looks a very specific model of the Shinkansen.
Okay, yeah, no, I see the picture. Yeah, so I guess that's just the table being short. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. But yeah, like again, this is a card that this was printed in starter deck Cyrus and then reprinted in like Gladiator Assault. Like, arguably for Gladiator Assault type time, not great. Like already getting a little lagged, but for GX overall, pretty solid. When summoned, target 2, add them to your hand. It works. Yeah, I wasn't sure. There's probably better cards, but like this does combo with Ambulance Roid, because Ambulance Roid then means you immediately get to summon those guys. And funnily enough, Vesper, you say that about it getting into Speed Roid. Konami knew this too, because they printed this in High Speed Riders, the set that introduces Speed Roid to the TCG.
Oh yeah, they wanted you to play this with Speedroid.
Because they figured it worked. And he's been reprinted several times because of that. So, like, it's not terrible, but definitely, like, is a guy who I think comes a little too late to actually be relevant for when it was. Nowadays, because special summoning is inherently so much easier, I think this guy still makes the cut. One, because he's a 4. So, like, he's a level 4 Earth Machine. There's stuff you can do with that, you know? Because there's no way you're filling up your extra deck with just Vehicroid summons, because some of them are bad or take specific materials. So, like, I think you can make room for, like, Geargia type Xyz monsters in a modern Roid deck. So, like, him being a 4 who gets you recycling, it's not terrible, you know? Let's talk about another sad victim of the non-Wind Roid package, Gyroid. Another card that's also, like, actually was pretty good for the time. This guy, much like Drillroid, made the cut in our Prog series in some decks. He's a gyrocopter.
He looks like he will just fly in just to fucking cold cock you in the mouth, just punch.
Yeah, it does look a little punchy, which is good. Like, this design has some character. It is a strict gyrocopter, you know, because it's got like the gyrojet things on the on his rotors, but like, it's good looking. I am a little concerned about the placement of this fuel tank and/or bomb. It's the kind of detail you don't notice when we're zoomed out, but up close, I am a little concerned with our placement here. But it's fine.
You know, I'm looking at it. I pulled up on the wiki to see if I can find anything. I don't know if it's just the render on the fandom site. The speed tool render looks like the colors are way more saturated than this version of the color. Let me throw it in Fail Betrayal.
Yeah, throw it up, because I've only got the regular printing from Starter Deck Truesdale. Yeah, no, I don't know if that is the scanning effect, but no, that does look more saturated. I wonder if that's the change up in the printing method.
It could be we're comparing cards, like the same card printed 15 plus years apart, so it could just be a artifact of the different times.
It looks a little blue. But yeah, Gyroid is a card that, again, made the cut in some actual decks in the past. This is a Wind Machine level 3, 1k. So, like, for a level 3, like, we're trying. And it does say, the first time this card will be destroyed by battle each turn, it isn't. This guy's just a double blocker. It's pretty solid. Like I said,
especially in early Prog when for us, like when the meta was just summon bunguses, throwing a guy that you have to kill twice.
Yeah, when we like
tempo.
Our GX phase was very funny because once we did actually kill Chaos, everybody say it with me, like we had to do the GX thing where we were like, man, we're just playing some weird decks. Like a couple of us played some machine turbo decks, or is just like, give me some machines. Gyroid, he's a machine who might not die. We can keep him, you know. I think Monarch decks played him as just a body blocker because he could be a tribute, like was just said in chat. Like, he's just a guy.
I want to be real with you guys. I want to do another Prog. It's insanity. We shouldn't do it, but I want to do it.
I mean, I've had those thoughts too, where I'm like, man, I miss Prog, and then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, are you fucking high right now?
I think we're gonna need like a way more condensed. I think we need to change the rules and make a very more condensed system for it. Then
I could be affected by only playing half the series, but I want to do it. I want to commit to it this time.
We would have to think of some way to make it go by faster, like just because. God, I wouldn't want to get bogged down in dual monsters forever.
What if we look for dual monsters? We just need to do 2 sets a week, and it'll go quick. 2 sets a week.
I mean, we did start by doing 2 sets because I straight up said I am not playing only LOB format again because just LOB format sucks butts. It's
yeah, what about it is I don't know what we do. I guess we could just do it Tuesdays once we're out too.
We could figure it out. I'll keep it in the open end. I'm not committing to any long-term projects because moving this month. So like, we're,
You know,
I don't know when, but,
not this exact moment, but man, Prague is it was so fun. It was so fun just dicking around.
yeah, like and like we get not consistently, but we get a little bit of that with like the Cuban, but that is also a much more compacted card pool, which is like that's good in its own right, but it's a very different vibe. But yeah, Prague stuff is funny. I'm not against it, but also I am against. Like it would be a thing we'd have to think about how to get it out there because it is cool to just like go through Yu-Gi-Oh's history and rip sets, but
it would require a lot more refining than our first attempt, where we were very much just throwing shit at the wall in the early days,
yeah.
trying to feel a little different.
Yeah, and also like it was built out of a desire where I specifically designed a lot of rules because I was actively watching Simo and Gage do Progression Series, Season 1, and watching Progression Playoffs, which was like, I think they did a lot for Prague Playoffs to make it funny, but also them doing like hard cutoff rotation on like sets and series was like good for them, but also it sucks because like I mentioned Roid, right? That guy wasn't printed until Crimson Crisis. That's technically a 5Ds card, but if you rotate out all the Roids in GX, he's a useless card.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I realized, like, going back and watching some of our earlier Prague episodes, I should probably watch some later ones to see how those vibed, but watching some of our earlier ones, the banning was just unhinged. Like, I think that ban listing cards is important, but I would want to try and improve that somehow, because we get weird shit where, like, 4-star Ladybug of Doom got banned twice, but like we didn't ban Chaos Sork for like 5 weeks or some shit, and it's just like, no, I get, Banish the Light in the Dark and it's funny and it's cool, but like we needed to kill that deck way sooner because people were just, you either could play Chaos Turbo and you won, or you couldn't play Chaos Turbo and it sucked.
It was just the nature of it was the nature of pettiness. In the Chaos era, especially.
Dallas held us hostage a lot for no good reason, and like, it took me way too long to get that Dallas was being a wrestling heel for camera, but also like Dallas also just made dumb decisions.
He didn't act any different than he did on or off camera, honestly.
I mean, he acted a little different, but like Dallas's problem with being a heel was that I agree. He was too straight-faced about it. He was too deadpan. He had to be more extra. He couldn't just be like, "Oh, I'll ban Feather Duster." And it's like, "No, don't. We need to get back row decks out of here because the floodgate problem we can't ban enough floodgates, Dallas."
I think that it means that every time we have to make it quicker, we're just going to have to do a thing where there is just we have to ban about 5 problem cards every time we transition to a different era.
I mean, we could
outside
do that.
normal banning.
Honestly, I think the process it should be more like what Doug and the crew has been doing for current Master Saga seasons, where like you target bans at players' card pools with some overlap, and that means that you only get so many. Each person only gets so many bans, as opposed to like we just kind of voted as a committee.
Honestly, I think if we do it, we're basically, depending on how many people we have, I think it depends on how many people we have, but it does, it's like, how severe you lose means you get a ban and a limit. And then if you only, like, I guess go neutral, you only get a limit or a ban. And then if you win, you just...
But also that means I have to reserve the right to yell at Loth if his record is as bad in the sequel series, but he also won't ban a card that's good.
We'll have to do the Loth rule of if the committee can vote that the ban was bad.
Loth, I love you. You're great. You, despite the fact that you had the shittiest record, which, hey, I was right there, down there with you with the Suck Boys. My record was also pretty terrible by the time the series ended. But, like, you were bad at bans. You lost a lot, but could not ban a card that would help you win.
I keep taking us off tangent. Hey guys, it's another win rule.
Yeah, no. So I've had Jetroid pulled up for like 5 minutes, and I'm okay not talking about him because like I don't like Jetroid.
I owned this card as a kid.
Like
it sucked.
I do not like that he has teeth that it looks like the vents are supposed to be his teeth, and I greatly dislike
they've
it.
shaded his intake vents to be weird, which is all, again, that's silly. You can, shark mouths on planes have been a thing forever. You can just paint him a mouth and have it be like a cartoon mouth. I don't like that the cockpit is like fully leaning forward. Like, it's also, why is he like salmon pink? It's weird. Also, like, I won't like outright talk about it in detail, but there is a genre of internet art involving jet planes that I feel like this kind of goopiness gets like him being too flexible gets a little too close to it. I'm just like, no, man, that's weird. Also, I've realized that I mean, I think it's because he's like a toy, but his wingtip missiles are drawn wrong. You can't fire those. They're like stuck in the holders because he's like a toy, but it also, he's not a toy. He's a Jetroid man. Like, it's goopus. I don't like it. I don't like looking at him. Jetroid is another wind machine. He's another level 4. He's got 1200 attack and 1800 defense, which is like okay for a defender. He's also an effect card, so like it's interesting. This guy has one of the most batshit crazy effects of all time, considering this card was printed in 2005. And I think there's a reason why Konami has not reprinted him a lot. At pre-PSCST, by the way, at the time this card is selected as an attack target by an opponent's monster, you can activate trap cards from your hand.
This again, a card that only works in anime, where cards effects only exist once you announce them.
Well, I mean, I think your opponent could safely call your bluff. They could be like, you don't have Mirror Force in your hand, fuck you. And then you activate Mirror Force from your hand. Which I think is how this is supposed to work, because it's at attack deck, you can activate a trap card, so it's like, it lets you do battle tricks from your hand? That's real cute. This card sucks, though. Like, this card is way too bad a chassis to have that effect on.
The problem of cards like this is that it telegraphs to the opponent that, oh, well, you have trap cards in your hand if you're going to summon this asshole. Like, and yeah, like sure, you can play him and bluff it, but your opponent will just not attack it and find another way to get rid of it.
Yeah, they'll either call your bluff, in which case, if you didn't have something good in your hand, it sucks. And also, like I said, this was in like Cyrev, you know, early GX. I'm pretty sure Mirror Force was already at 1 or would very quickly go to, was either at 0 or would quickly go to 0 during this time period anyway. So, like, the explosivity of your battle tricks was lowered. So, like, what are you going to do? Activate Sakuretsu? Well, your opponent just waits out a turn and summons 2 guys who are bigger than Jetroid, you know? Negate attack is a funny one as well. That's a counter trap, you know, which also works. But that just, you know, that's just a Wabaku, basically, right? Like, that just skips a turn. And so your opponent goes, oh, well, I didn't get you this turn. I'll get you next turn. Like, it's not a good enough card. So, like, especially for being called Jetroid, you know? It's a weird one. Oh, God. And here's another guy who's just... Sorry.
I think it really just is the nature of cards like this. They're very clearly like anime cards that were like cute little like one-off tricks in the anime.
Yeah.
Have zero function in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Because your opponent has the ability to read your cards.
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
I keep saying this, but like it's the anime thing of no one knows your opponent's abilities until they say them or show them.
And I do want to
applies
acknowledge
with the
that,
cards.
yeah, like, and I think that goes into the wrestling thing as well. Like, that's just part of the hype of the match is, no, nobody did no pre-research. No, nobody reads cards. I mean, also in the anime, to be fair, Duel Monsters cards are printed like they don't have fucking text on them. Everybody is playing full arts with no text, and they have it.
It's a thing of,
actually, no,
if there's text, it's something you have to, like, the system you're using has to tell you, I guess.
They have invented Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron. It's just they don't have smartphones, so it's just built into their dual discs. And
Yeah,
I guess everybody's
like
just a doofus who won't look it up.
To compare it to wrestling, like every wrestler has like a handful of moves they will hit every single match to win. In real life, you would know, hey, don't let Rey Mysterio get you near the ropes. He's going to fucking kill you. Don't do it.
And I think, yeah, Crusader does bring
He's
up a
gonna
good
trip
point.
you
Like,
he's gonna trip you and 619 your ass.
though, admittedly, sorry, I'm fighting my. I feel a sneeze creeping on, but it didn't jump out at me. So, blah, blah.
It's the weird anime thing. We gotta
Well,
make it
sometimes they
repeatable.
have.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have card text in Japanese. I think GX did start showing it more. They did edit out a lot of the card text for the English anime, but some cards are also just printed like they don't have text boxes.
In Duel Monsters, it was a case of the card art design just looking different than what the current card art that the TCG got. GX On has the standard card art that we've had from now on, and the reason the dub doesn't have it is an advertising issue where you can't have, like, if you had the straight up cards with full text on them, it would be an advertisement. You can't have that for kids programming.
You gotta be careful.
That's why
I would also say that
card.
knowing how those animes were produced, that would probably be really annoying to edit every frame to have English text because it wasn't in English originally. So
that as well. It was a double whammy of, we're not gonna fucking put English text on all these Japanese cards, but we also can't have text. We can't have them look like the real cards.
But I do want to say, like, sorry I brought this up. Chumley not knowing a card effect. I do want to say he was in Slifer Red, so like they saying he forgot. And admittedly, that happens today in real life Yu-Gi-Oh! Though admittedly, it's usually because monsters have multiple effects and the formatting of the TCG is dog shit.
Even in Duel Monsters, Anzu or fucking Thea, sorry, she has an entire character episode arc with Waboku. Like, what does Waboku do? I forget.
I forgot what Waboku does.
What does Waboku do?
But like,
It's the thing of, I honestly wish that the English cards were bigger.
But like the thing of like, it is again part of the move of like, oh, he just had the card in his deck because it's themed and he forgot to do it right. He misclicked. And I actually kind of like that about Yu-Gi-Oh players because it's never explicitly explained this way, but especially when we get to GX, it feels like Maximilian Pegasus has a fucking learn your Yu-Gi-Oh archetype personality test somewhere. Like every time you go to buy cards at the shop, and then you take it and you get a deck, and that's it. Like, you're locked in. What the fuck does this deck do? I don't know, man, but the BuzzFeed quiz says this is my deck, so I have to play it, right? Like, I feel like that's how some people decide their gimmick, as opposed to like in real life where you read a card effect first and you're like, ninjas, that's cool. I want to do that.
Yurgia, that's fun. Or you see the boss monster, it's like, I want to play that.
Yeah. Anyway, I pulled up Rescue Roid for a while. This card looks okay. He's kind of a fire engine, though he's teal, which, man. But also, I groaned when I pulled this guy up because Rescue Roid is a level 6 fire machine with 1600 attack and 1800 defense. That's right, it's a GX1 tribute monster whose stats are pathetic. They cannot defeat a monarch.
But don't worry, guys. It revives things or something.
Yeah. So, Rescue Roid is part of the loop, because its effect is actually decent. When a Roid monster you control is destroyed or balanced into the graveyard, add it to your hand. You have to control this card face up on the field to resolve this effect.
Yeah, we've seen all the Roid cards. So the Infinite Loop was Ambush Roid and Rescue Roid together. It was Ambush Roid, Rescue Roid, Decoy Roid, some kind of Battle Mania card. Or no, it was Ultimate Tyranno who has to attack every monster your opponent controls or something.
Yeah.
And a shitty trap card that's like, whenever a machine monster on your field is destroyed, you burn your opponent for like 500 or 300 or something. So it was, Cyrus Summon Blaster. So it was just, Ultimate Tyranno has to kill Decoy because it's attacked first. It gets killed, hits the graveyard, goes to hand from Ambulance Roid. Rescue Roid puts it in hand. Ambulance Roid summons it. Ultimate Tyranno has to attack Decoy Roid. I repeat ad infinitum until Kenzan life points
a functional closed loop, but would never happen in real life because your opponent would see it coming a mile away and would defuse it. I mean, fusion summoning then defusioning is actually a good way to get these guys on board.
He defusioned Ambulance Rescue Roid to put them on the field so that it didn't look like it was a loop that could happen.
Yeah. That's a more fair trick, but yes, it's still a it's a cute loop, but it's something that still wouldn't happen properly.
It's one of those like playground loops that you see like your opponent like, oh, how could you do this to me? Wah! like the 5-year-old walks into it because they don't have object permanence.
All right, now chat. I need you to be cool. I'm gonna show you something. All right, I assure you, it's real, not doctored. Footage real.
Oh boy, here we go.
Shuttle Roid. And I'm just showing you a scan of the Japanese card because this guy's not in Master Duel, has literally never been printed in English. I could probably go online and find a blow-up of his card art, but I'm not gonna. It's just part of the mystique.
I don't know why just a space shuttle is a bad... I don't.
I think his only English existence is Duel Links. Isn't it a Duel Links?
Let me check. Let's see. Not appearances.
It looks like it's in Duel Links.
Interesting. It has also only been printed in Japanese once as well.
Yeah.
It was only in premium packaging.
Here's from the Duel Links site, the English version. If you would like to put that on stream.
Yeah, we'll do it for the sake of comparison. Though it looks like they look like Duel Links got a scan of this card from the Japanese because it looks like he's got the secret rare waves on him. It's very funny. I mean, I'm pretty sure it had been a while because it was this card was printed in 07. The Columbia disaster was the Columbia incident was 03, so it was like 5 years later when they decided to print it in the first place, and I don't think we had another one. I will say, Axe asked earlier, I don't see how a space shuttle could be a problem. So technically, a space shuttle is not generic. The space shuttles we made were made like by NASA with like appropriate NASA branding. There's no like third-party knockoff of those. So I can see how there could be a hypothetical concern with a unique piece of United States government property that I do believe NASA does try to avoid, like appearing like they endorse things that they don't endorse. This is why a lot of anime use fake NASA abbreviations. Like JAXA, NAXA, like they come up with a lot of alternatives.
It's the McDonald's fallacy.
Yeah. Oh shit, lots of ping is fucking crazy. But yeah, so like it is a thing where like I don't think NASA goes out of their way to block fiction from utilizing them, but they can and may have, so they don't want to do it. This doesn't actually have the NASA branding on it, so it's a little like they probably could get away with it. And like I said, Armoroid is another obvious space shuttle guy, but he's also a giant robot, so this is just odd. Sorry.
I've passed my sickness to you.
No, that was me trying to breathe water.
Damn it.
I've been there.
I drank too fiercely. So yeah, I don't know exactly why they won't print it. This one makes a little more sense than Air Neos. And also, like, honestly, he's not even that good. But he does actually do some things. So, Shuttle Roid's another win machine. He's 4, 1,000, 1,200. If this card's when this card's targeted for an attack, you can banish this card. Once per turn, during your next standby phase after this card was banished by this effect, special summon him. If summoned this way, inflict 1,000 damage. That's a soft once per turn, by the way. So, like...
It's just a very funny effect. Like it doesn't do anything. really.
I mean, like
But
for the time period, it's cute. Like he does the dodge effect, but only when targeted for attack, and then comes back during your standby phase and does 1K. Not terrible, especially for the era it was in. Like 2007. But like not really worth reprinting these days. But it is one of those like funny cases where they just like didn't even bring him over in speed duels, like do the wombo combo. And it is very funny to me that like getting on the wrong side of the official United States government is where they'll draw the line. But products that are licensed by the US government, that's okay. Because this guy was actually reprinted in that box. Let me bring up the card art for our next guy, Stealth Roid. This is an F-117 Nighthawk.
I do like it doesn't have like anthropomorphic eyes, but like the little red wings are definitely supposed to be its eyes.
Well, because the Nighthawk definitely doesn't have those normally, but they've added them to like give him cool sunglass eyes. But yeah, no. And I'm pretty sure Nighthawks are still in service. But they printed this in the GX midterm box. So like, this is one that we're okay with. But it's a good one. It's also funny to me, like, this is actually on the trivia page. Let me see if I can see the appearances for the manga version. In the anime, it's definitely still a Nighthawk, but apparently in the manga, it's drawn like a B2 spirit, like a big stealth bomber. And I'm just like, that's funny. That we just drew him differently. I can't actually find like an instance of the manga though, so that may just be the wiki is talking nonsense.
I did actually just find, shit, where'd it go? Here is the anime art for Stealth Roid. It's a little different.
Yeah, that they did actually swoosh him a little differently.
Fucking communist shades.
Yeah, he's still got his shades, but they like he's not quite as cartoony. He's much more angular.
Oh, I've found the Stealth Roid from the manga. Just a different design entirely.
Oh,
No, I haven't brought up Kite Raid, sorry, because Kite Raid is another card that's not real yet, I think. It's like only in Duel Links, I think? Yeah, it's only in anime and Duel Links. They have not printed Kite Raid officially yet in paper. There it is, thank you. So, let me open this image so you can see the comparison. I will also say the manga version of Stealth Roid is derpier? But still, yeah.
Also, again, just an entire like the printed version, anime version, and manga version are all completely different cards. Like in both in design and effect.
Yeah, that's an oddball one. So the official
granted,
paper version of this.
The printed and anime version are like essentially the same effect, but worded differently. Like the printed version is slightly shittier.
Oh well, what's the anime version then?
The anime is just if this card battles, destroy a spell or trap card at the end of the damage step.
Ah, yes. So that is slightly better. I don't know why they decided to balance it then, because the full version or the printed version is at the end of your battle phase. If this card battled, target one spell trap on the field, destroy it. You must control another Roid to activate and resolve.
The manga version is impossible. It's impossible to enforce. You can flip one face-down monster face up and negate its flip. Oh wait, right? No, you can flip one face-down monster face up and negate its flip effects. I read this wrong when I read it first out in my head, but so yeah, it's just flip a face-down monster up. It doesn't activate its flip effect, which is it's Swords of Revealing Light. Or no, what's the other one? Not Ceasefire. What is that card?
Oh, that is a card I can't think of. It's just It's like a finger pointing, and it's just flip up one guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
What it's called. So it sounds like to me like we could. There's the sneeze. God, that took a while. We could, if we could come up with a new name for it, we could reprint them. We could print the manga Stealth Roid who looks different and have him be a different guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Stealth Roid is a level 4 dark machine with 1200 attack and 0 defense. This is why his effect sucks, by the way, because the paper version is way too balanced. I don't know why they decided to make a crappier MST so overtuned, but they did. In Gladiator's Assault, no less.
Yeah, like the anime version. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's at least a decent effect because like you can set this monster face down, and you basically get a flip effect. Like you essentially get a pop. Like no
and if
matter
your
what
opponent
happens.
has like a really annoying floodgate, you could always suicide Stealth Roid and still pop. This is you have to have another Roid. It has to be at the end of your battle phase, which means this guy has to live because you can't activate its effects from the graveyard. So it's just I don't get how you're supposed to do this in paper. This is the thing that I've heard some people talk about with cards like Goyo Guardian and stuff. Like, I wish Konami would not be cowards about Arata-ing the other way. Like, they should just rewrite Stealth Roid to be better, to be its anime effect. The game wouldn't be hurt at all. Like, there's no need for these unnecessary effects, but I don't think Konami ever does that.
Give us the proper anime versions of all the Dawn 1000 cards. It's not going to do anything. Just give us full power Dawn 1000 deck. I want it to be funny.
But yeah, so Stealth Roid's an interesting attempt to do a thing, but unfortunately is hampered by being way too overtuned. And again, like I said, this was in this card was released anyway in the TCG in Gladiator's Assault, which released some Gladiator cards, which I'm hoping included. Yep, there he is, Murmillo, a card that does what Stealth Roid does, but better. When summoned by a Gladiator Beast, pop. Actually, no. Murmillo is monsters. Which one is Spell Traps? Look, no. The Spell Trap guy existed. Because there's Murmillo and there's the Spell Trap one. I don't remember which one he is.
I can't remember off the top of my head now either. Yeah.
But I know he existed. Bestiari, thank you. Yeah, there he is. Bestiari was also in that set. Target Spell Trap. So like I said, it's infinitely better. I kind of don't want them to do the number clause for numbers, just because that would make them. There's some very annoying number monsters. I guess if it was just destroyed by battle, that could be silly. But like this, that seems like there could be unintentional consequences because there are literally over 100 numbers. More than 110 because there are chaoses and multiples. If you wanted to, and they may have already, if you wanted to make that like a continuous or a field spell that did that, that would probably be okay.
The last thing we want is a Baguska that is also indestructible.
Yeah, Baguska's already enough of an annoying guy.
Yeah, he only lasts for 3 turns max. I don't need an indestructible Baguska on the board for 5 minutes.
Yeah, even if it is just by battle, like, that's already, like, really annoying to worry about. Like, that's... I don't know if it would change things, but I think that there are... It's like what I was saying earlier, before you even got here, Vesper, because the TCG banned, the OCG, sorry, banned Beatrice as well, and I'm like, hopefully Master Duel bans Beatrice. We're at a state where just you can't give decks generic extra deck access to a Foolish Burial or Foolish Burial Goods. That has to be like an unsearchable main deck card. Or it has to be archetype locked, because just if you can send whatever you want to the graveyard, that's bad. That's way too good. I think just like there's so many numbers that just generically errataing all of them to be indestructible by battle unless by another numbers monster would somehow cause problems. I don't know where it would be, but it would. Let's talk about Steamroid. Another classic. This is a guy who also saw some play in Prague and probably saw some play in real life. He's crappy, but he's crappy in a fun way.
Ah, this guy.
Yep. Pretty good
I love
art.
this guy.
Yeah, this legend.
I do like his very comic booky, dots pattern background. Very, very solid. Not a lot else to say. He's just a good looking guy. He's a train.
Steamroid, yeah.
Yes, Steamroid. Not sure.
This is one of those cards that you're reading and go, oh, this card's really good. Then you read the second half of this effect and you go, wow, this card sucks.
Yeah, he's still overtuned, but he does have purposes. I think he played him out there. So this is another Earth Machine. He's level 4. My God, chat, he's 1818. He has stats for a level 4 monster. Even better, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, this card gains 500 attack during the damage step only.
Man, that's
Period.
so great. Surely there's no downside to it.
Space.
It explodes.
If this card is attacked by an opponent's monster, this card loses 500 attack during the damage step only.
Why? For what purpose?
I don't remember. There's a
it's
theming
such
here.
a weird effect.
I get the idea they're going for. Like, I think the idea is that there's some stuff here with like him being a charging train and whatnot. It is a nowadays especially, but even back in the day, it's a very unfortunate balancer. That said, a normal guy who gets up to 23, that's still pretty good. Like, and it's not necessarily that he, Axe joked about he explodes, right? Like, it's not quite like a limited removal. He doesn't literally die after he attacks. He just will probably die. Sorry, I'm taking pauses to blow my nose because after my sneeze incident, my nose is slightly running. But, it's a case where it's not a guarantee that he dies, but to always be on sucks. Like, I would prefer... I mean, they're both mandatory, I guess, so it's not that. But I would feel better if they weren't both mandatory, if it was optional, and then if you activated the attack gain effect, it activated for the next turn the other effect. But yeah, it's even shittier than a skyscraper, which just doesn't proc when your opponent attacks you anyway. He gets actively worse. But he was still good enough, like I said, to make some cut in some of our prog decks back in the day, for Cyrev. Like, there's room here. And for very early Viacroids, again, came out in Cybernetic Revolution and Cyrev, doing okay.
You know what, for 2005, it's still I don't want to call it a bad card. It's just man, even without the attack reduction on attack, this card still would have just been fine. But man, the attack reduction just kills it.
It's a case where I think they wanted to just keep the consistency of cards like Goblin Attack Force and Panther Warrior and shit, right? Where it was just well, you just can't have a guy who is a level 4 who attacks over 2k without some kind of downside. But then why did you bother, printing him with 1818 stats, right?
Yeah.
So I don't quite get why they decided to go that route. It is a killer. It does mean that Steamroid is absolutely dead as a card now.
I think it would have been way more interesting if this was a 16-16 like Drill Roid that just gets the 500 attack on attack, that gets the 500 on attack and nothing else. Yeah. Because 16 is at least a surmountable attack value.
Yeah.
Even in the early even in the stages of
and I think him
Cyrev,
going to 21 would work because that would still do the job of getting over presumably. What I assume the intent of Steamroid is he's supposed to get over your opponent's normal summon of a big guy. He's supposed to be able to beat up a 2k defender, or your opponent summoned a 1800 guy, and instead of clashing, you win. But if your opponent summons another 1800 guy, you just lose. Or he can crash with a Monarch, I guess, for a single normal summon, which is funny, but still, like, it's... Or some Monarchs, anyway. No, actually, it's 24, right? So it doesn't even work. He doesn't even get over a Monarch. He doesn't get over Summon Skull. So, like, it's... I think it is just to beat your opponent's one normal summon, not a tribute summon, which is, like, respectable. He gets over Cyber Dragon, I guess, is the point.
Yeah, it's designed to get over the normal summon / a 2K wall.
Like, it beats Sidra, which is cute, but you can't build a card just about it outs one Cyber Dragon. Especially once Cyber Dragon became, like, an archetypal card. Anyway, I've pulled up Submarine Roid. Once again, I don't like the Torpedo Eyes. Those are good. I don't like Submarine Roid's eyes. I feel like I don't like how this submarine is looking at me.
I'm going to bomb your family.
The color scheme is also a little weird for what is clearly supposed to be a military sub. It's got, like, the like, safety yellow bottom hull. I don't know why it's not, like, all the one color. But anyway, it's Submarine Roid. This is another one that actually, like, did some stuff.
Yeah, this is another Roid card that saw spattering of play just because it was a funny little dude.
And in fact, is limit 1 in Speed Duel. This is such a funny little guy in Speed that he's good in Speed Duels. This is another level 4 Water Machine, 800 attack, 1800 defense. So again, like, not for what you do with this card, not actually terrible stats for an 18 for a 4-star. Because this card can attack your opponent directly, but when using this effect, the battle damage is equal to your original attack of this card. So no, like, limiter removal shit, no equip or field spell boosting. It just does 800. But at the end of the damage step, if this card battled, change this card to defense position. Like, very solid, actually, for the time period. A direct attacker who then goes to defense? This is good.
Yeah, like, and like 1800 defense, especially in this era, what was it was more or less the standard for normal summons at the time.
Yeah.
Like like Mechanical Chaser and stuff existed, but for the most part, your normal summons were like 1800, save for like your vanillas like Vorse Raider and Mechanical Chaser.
Yeah.
But you weren't really playing those guys anymore at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, like 1900 guys existed, but were a little rare or expensive. Like, not everybody was rocking a Gemini Elf. Mechanical Chaser was hella rare at the time. Like that, I think, like, the meta relevancy of Mechanical Chaser is slightly oversold in the retrospect because it was a, like, secret rare print in a tournament pack, so fucking nobody had them.
I want to say Vorse Raider is the first iteration of a vanilla monster that is cost efficient in 1900.
Yeah, let me see the printing on this.
At least if I'm not crazy and remembering Vorse Raider at 1900, I'm pretty sure that's right. It's been ages.
Yeah, no, he's 1900, 1200
yeah.
defense.
Okay. Sounded right.
Yeah, he was a tin promo, and then was in Duelist Pack Kaiba, which was later in the Duelist Pack sequel, but he was printed as a rare. So, like, if you could afford a tin, you could get it.
Think about that. A tin promo was just a 1900 vanilla, because at the time that was meta, like, not meta defining, but
It was
like,
meta relevant for sure.
that stat. Yeah, like that stat was defining to combat.
Yeah, and for comparison, didn't spell that right. Gemini Elf.
Like the other promos around the time were probably like Exarian Universe. I'm pretty sure it's not another one around that time. Chiron the Sage sounds right.
Actually,
DMG.
And then the other thing would have been, I would say Gemini Elf would be accessible at this time because
Okay.
Elf was very rare for a long time. They were a secret in Labyrinth of Nightmare, but in Dark Beginning 2, they were a common reprint in 2005. In 2006, they were in Structure Deck Spellcaster's Judgment, and in 2007, Gemini Elf was a common in Starter Deck Jaden. So, like, Elf, the technology of playing Gemini Elf was was out roughly by the time Submarine Roid came out, but I would say that because, like, Earth Beats was not a thing, you would not necessarily guarantee your opponent was playing Gemini Elves for the sake of playing Gemini Elves, right? Like,
Yeah.
By 2006, by Power of the Duelist, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Was out of the phase of playing beaters for the sake of playing beaters. Like, you would play beaters because you would use them as tribute fodder for, like, a monarch or something. Yeah, and you can play Trap Hole, you can play other shit like that, you know. Several of those removal tricks did work. And, like, you could be playing decks that actually, like, combo, you know, by the time of Power of the Duelist. Like, Power of the Duelist was not a great set, but there were cards in it. You had, like, Destiny Heroes were printed, you know, Ultimate Tyranno was in that set, Miracle Jurassic Egg, and Da Baby.
The Bobby.
You know, like, there were some tricks. Also, as just a rare, mind you, Power of the Duelist contained Future Fusion, the original Future Fusion.
Funny.
And
They
Mausoleum
really
of the
did not
Emperor.
think that card would. They really did not think that card would cause any problems, did they?
No, I don't think they realized how crazy that was. Also at rare slot was Cyber Summon Blaster, which is so funny. That would suck so bad. You're pulling rares and it's like, okay, you could get, Future Fusion. I would argue even Neo Space, like as a rare, like that makes that deck a lot better.
Or the kids who watched the anime and were like, I want to play the Neospatians. They look so cool.
And I mean, like, some of the Neospatian, like, some of the Neos fusions are actually good. Like, and
Yeah.
the fact that, so the field spell meaning they don't go away is, like, that's workable. This also did include some of the good guys. You got Aqua Dolphin and Dark Panther in this set.
A lot of people joke and shit on, a lot of people shit on the Neospatians. They are like the Neospatian cards are fun. Like, they're neat. Their biggest flaw is just built into their design. I would not say that it's
Yeah.
It is not their fault that they have a very unfortunate drawback.
But, like, aliens were in this set. Like, so, like I said, you could play Gemini Elf at a pretty accessible price point around this point, but I feel like decks were not in a state where that would be a guarantee, right? Like, whereas if Gemini Elf was a common when it was printed in Labyrinth of Nightmare, would have been in every deck. Everybody would be running Gemini Elf because it was Labyrinth of Nightmare format. You were like, a 1900 beater that doesn't cost me 2 months of allowance? We're there. We're in. But so, yeah, Submarine Run is funny enough where, like, it is a card that is useful and workable, like, back in the day. And, like, arguably these days, if you can flood the board with enough of them, you could do something funny with that still, right? Like, it's a direct attacker, so you can win on time,
Yeah.
Like, it's got room. And it's not wind. But now we have to talk about Trucktober, because it's no longer Trucktember.
We're in Trucktober, buddies.
It's Truckroid.
What the fuck? Truckroid's the shit ass one that, like, equips shit at kills or something, right?
Yes. I can read Truckroid's effect. It's very simple. If this card destroys an opponent's monster of battle and sends it to graveyard, equip the destroyed monster to this card. It gains attack equal to the combined attack of all monsters equipped to it by this effect. Like, again, this was a level 4, by the way. This is a level 4 Earth. It came out in Gladiator Assault, so I think it comes out a little late to be relevant, but it's also a 2K defender. Not terrible. Like, you could make this work.
The worst part of this card is that you have to boost it some way to likely kill anything to then make it threatening.
But
Realistically,
if you get it started, as seen
Yeah.
when they did that character roulette episode with MBT and the Truck Timber jokes, if you get Truckroid started, your opponent has to do something about it, because it will once it starts activating its effect, it will probably very rapidly become a problem.
What did
this
you do again?
this is also very much a just a syntax error on the fandom site, but I do love that "if" is in all caps.
Yeah.
If this card does it.
Yeah. And it when it destroys by battle, it equips that monster, and it gains attack equal to the attack of the monsters equipped. The combined attack of the monster equipped by this effect.
He takes the slain scraps of his victims and tosses it in his trailer.
Yeah. He's I think honestly we can say safely Truckroid is in the relinquished genre,
Yeah.
but it's by battle instead of just snatching one. And like I said, this guy's also still just a 2K defender. He's a level 4 Earth machine with 1,000, 2,000. Like, not terribly bad.
Yeah, the worst part of this guy is that it has a 1,000 stat line at base.
Yeah.
So you either have to give it like a backup rider kind of thing to get it on like started up, or you have to hope your opponent's a dumbass and leaves a 900 attack monster out on the board or something like that.
Yeah. So like a card that is respectable but is now outdated, and it does only say by this effect, so you can't like cheat it with like Union monsters or something.
Yeah, you can't not Union Carrier. What's the link one? What's the link fucker?
Isn't that Union Carrier?
Is it Union Carrier? That's not, I said it in my head. It sounded wrong.
There's several Union guys that do that, but no, you can't just do that. There's also
know
like
there's Union
the
Carrier.
mech support
Okay.
platform and stuff. Like there were generic machine unions you could use, but they don't count because it has to be equipped by that effect.
Oh well, you know what? It turns out, in fact, Union Carrier could have done it because it does give the equipped monster 1,000 attack. If you equip a monster, if you equip a monster with Union Carrier's effect, so you could actually get something with it.
So you could get started that way. Well, Union Carrier is banned with good reason. But if it wasn't,
a Union Carrier makes a truck ride strat too strong. We had to ban it, and nothing else.
and now we're finally here after 2 hours. Our last main deck monster. That's right. We haven't even talked about the fusions because it is the GX fusion era.
I'm gonna have fun because the fusions are a lot of Gao Gaigar references, I think.
Honestly, I think we will have more fun looking at the fusions. Like, most of the monster arts we haven't talked about at all because they're just, yeah, it's a cartoon car. UFO Roid is a UFO with 3 lightning nipples. Why? Don't fucking ask me. I don't understand.
It's a super laser piss.
It also has literally the nozzle from Venture Brothers on top. The nozzle is calibrating. Do not look at the nozzle. Stay still when calibrating the nozzle. Venture Brothers is really good, Chad. Yeah, I don't... UFO Roid is like, amongst cartoon vehicles that are funny, weird, haha, UFO Roid is a step above. I don't know if it's supposed to be just its mouth or if they decided just to give it the little, like, can of cat food thing for its head floating above the disc for some reason. Like, it's... What? Why? Why are we this way? Is it the little alien sticking out of the top like the unnamed villain from best-selling video game Astrobot? I don't know.
I think what's
weird.
really funny about this card, when you look at, I looked it up. I looked up its anime appearance. It's the top half is attached, so that is how it speaks, I assume.
Ah, okay.
It speaks by the top half ungluing itself.
It's a Pac-Man, got it.
But I do love that if we do cover the fusion of this guy, it doesn't look at all like
Yeah,
it doesn't look
he's
at all
in
look
he's
like
in the list. He's at the bottom of the
Roid.
fusions. We're gonna talk about that guy
Yeah.
because that is a Roid, and I don't think it's a win, so it counts.
May I request we just look at it right now because it's not a Roid, and 2 I want to talk about
Sure.
how
Let's pull up UFO Roid
how
Fighter.
this happened.
Sorry, I have to spell UFO Roid correctly. But
UFO Roido.
So we're skipping to the other end of the line, but it's fine because who cares? So UFO Roid does have a fusion, which does name check him. So this does mean that you can I guess in like modern parlance, you could like
Fusion
actually do
conscription.
something with that because you could do like what is it? Fusion. There's so many cards that are
Conscription.
fusion something. Yeah, fusion
Fusion
conscription.
conscription.
You could also use the other newer card, Fusion Armament. That's got Flame Swordsman on it that lets you like reveal a guy and summon a guy. Like so you can use that to get out of UFO Roid. Why would you want to do that? Don't know. But yes,
Now,
UFO Roid is name checked by UFO Roid Fighter.
Now, it's name checked because in the anime, this card is fused with Elemental Hero Tempest in the duel against the Paradox Brothers to kill their Super Gate Guardian. I'm not even going to bother to remember what its name is. It's like Dark Guardian?
Yeah, Dark Guardian. Who is a real card
Dark
now, by the way.
Guardian,
They finally printed him.
Yeah.
I just did a fucking Council joke.
Can we talk about how Tempest is just on a fucking Segway and not UFO Roid?
I mean, it is... No, he's on the hover platforms from Metal Gear Solid 3. But yes, no,
They were dumb.
he doesn't
yeah,
look anything like
You know
UFO
they were
Roid.
dumb.
Yeah, like the fusion of UFO Roid Fighter just being Tempest on top of UFO Roid, but UFO Roid has become something entirely different in this fusion somehow.
It's
just Tempest.
Yeah,
it's
like,
the thing of like
here-
I don't know what they're thinking, but I guess it's a thing of it's in the anime, so they print it, but really
here is the anime glamour shot of UFO Roid Fighter. Please put it on the screen, Omega. It's dog shit.
It's very... This is... We were clearly... The budget for the year was running out, and we were like, shit, man, what do we do? Here, I'll
The
show
glamour
you
shot for
chat.
UFO Roid Fighter is worse than the card art.
Look, like that? Okay.
He's just chilling.
That's not far enough over. Hold on. Sorry, chat. I'm gonna sentence you to UFO Roid Fighter.
I mean, it's. I don't know. It bothers me so much. And the
It's-
UFO Roid Fighter.
It's very weird.
We don't have to talk about this card in depth. It's UFO Roid and the Warrior Monster. It just gets the attack and defense of the monster used to fusion summon it. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Which is also very silly. So UFO Roid itself is a level 6 light machine with 1200. It sucks. It's shitty.
And what's its effect? It's a Mystic Tomato.
Yeah,
It's a
basically,
thing
when this
of
card is
if you-
destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Sorry, hold on, X. You can special summon a machine monster with 1500 less attack from your deck and face up attack.
Now it
It's
is
a thing of if you go with
machine,
UFO Road to go with
which-
UFO Road, but like that's kind of it.
Yeah, like it's a machine, which I guess in theory is like, yeah, like you could summon anything, but also you have to get machine roid. You have to get UFO Roid onto the field.
Yeah.
I said machine roid. God.
We're making up new cards. So yeah, no, it's terrible. And so UFO Roid Fighter is a level 10 light machine fusion. It's question mark. Its materials, as Vesper mentioned, is UFO Roid and a warrior monster. So they did actually realize that, like, considering this was printed in Cybernetic Revolution, right? So very early on, they realized that they shouldn't make it with Tempest. Also
Because
Tempest is
for
a
people
fucking
who are
three-man
not
fusion.
aware of Tempest, Tempest is a 3-map fusion of Avion, Sparkman, and Bubbleman.
Who straight up I think is a better card than UFO Roid Fighter. Because it is
Yeah,
hard to get,
it-
and it must be fusion summoned. But
Yeah,
it's
I'm
it
reading
says-
it. You send the card you control to the graveyard. Target monster you control, cannot be destroyed. Like while Tempest is on the field, cannot be destroyed by battle.
Yeah.
Which, that's not a bad effect.
yeah for a 28/28 guy. Now, admittedly, he's a 3-mat fusion, but it's we're playing heroes, in the GX era, so whatever.
We're in fucking 2005.
Yes.
Elemental energy. This card is not gonna.
And
this
as
card is not
mentioned,
gonna be
UFO Roid's
insane.
Fighter's effect is its original attack, which I do appreciate because I believe that prevents it from being negated and having 0.
Yeah.
Its original attack and defense become the combined attack of the 2 materials used for its fusion summon. So, with the original UFO Roid fighter, that's 12 plus 28. That makes it
4,000.
exactly 4K, which is just enough to defeat Dark Guardian.
And you know, like
38, I think.
Yes, I believe so. It's 38.
To give a random example, you get your most generic warrior man, warrior digrapher. You know, it's a 2928, which it's fine, decent. The problem is just Roid kind of sucks.
Yeah, like if UFO Roid was an easier to get out monster, I think that you could see fighter as a side deck choice because you could make a super poly setup. It would be the world's most telegraphed super poly setup because your opponent would be like, why the fuck did you summon UFO Roid? Are you expecting me to run it over?
Oh, I also forgot the way they went with this card. They power bond it. They power bond UFO Roid fighter, so it becomes an 8K asshole.
Yeah, so that wins the whole duel. Again, not
guys,
terrible for an anime win, and I do appreciate that Konami looked at UFO Roid fighter and was like, okay, we need to make this semi-generic. Otherwise, this guy's
I
gonna
still
suck.
think UFO Roid should have been winnable.
Yeah, guys, I want chat to think about this for the rest of the episode. This guy that you've been banished to, this amazing glamour shot, he had AK attack when he was summoned, and he's just a guy on a Segway.
A space Segway.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have to ask you guys, how bad do you think if a actual machine Mystic Tomato existed as like a level 4 of 12?
I mean, I'm pretty sure, not those exact stats, but I'm pretty sure there is a similar machine monster that's like that somewhere. And I think it would
during
be
the
fine.
GX era.
I mean, during the GX era, you had similar cards. I mean, you could still play UFO Turtle, which may be what they were going for with the reference with UFO Roid. And Cyber Phoenix existed. You know, the guy that lets you draw one when popped by battle. Like, there were a few tricks.
I know.
I believe UFO Turtle was also a machine. He was a
I
fire
just think
machine.
it would have like on like UFO Roid into UFO Roid into UFO Roid and then something else. But yeah.
But like, I think if UFO Roid was a level 4 with its stat line, it would not be a problem. I don't know why they made it a 6. But also, he's just a weird anime guy, so fucking who cares? We're moving into the rest of the extra deck proper here. First, we have a very reasonable card for the GX time period. You know, again, this was Power of the Duelist. Ambulance Rescue Roid, whose name I like better than the OCG version, which was Rescue Roid, which is cuter, but translates weirder. So, Ambulance Rescue Roid. This is straight up Rescue Roid plus Ambulance Roid.
In the same way it combined the other the monsters, we're just gonna it's nowhere near as punny, but whatever.
Yeah. It's us trying to say Rescue Ambulance Roid is bad, so like we just can't make the pun as funny. So again, for a name checked GX era 2 fusion. Also talking about, we mentioned before about how the GX era feels like it was very deliberately designed to be like lower power level. GX is the era of a lot of fusion monsters that say must be fusion summoned. Konami realized that Cyberstein and Magical Scientist were guys who existed and were problems, and cards like that could be problems in future. Metamorphosis exists as well. And they did eventually ban a lot of those cheaty cards, but they realized that there was a problem there. It does unfortunately mean that they hadn't yet solved the future problem of, well, wait, how do we get those guys back? Which is, must first be fusion summoned.
Yep.
And again, Konami, you could errata every single incidence of must be fusion summoned to must be first be fusion summoned, and it probably wouldn't break anything except for some very asshole monsters. But anyway, Ambulance Rescue Roid was very typical for the time. So this is a Fire Machine Fusion, only a level 6, 2300, 1800 attack. I think it literally may have the combined stats of Ambulance Roid and Rescue Roid because those guys were both so dog shit. It is, again, Rescue Roid plus Ambulance Roid, must be fusion summoned. Once per turn when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it in defense position. So, already has the kind of effect that the loop did for Decoy Roid, but limited to a soft once per turn. But yeah, like honestly, for the stat line for a level 6 guy out of 2 guys, probably not worth the minus, but cute.
I'm looking at the stats. It's not, because ambulance and rescue Roid have 18 and 1200, and a defense and 300 and 1600
Yeah, wow,
attack.
okay, so they just made him shitty for no good reason.
Yeah. Especially for like, again, like granted, this is early GX. They were still figuring it out. For a 6-star fusion that has 2 very specific materials, a 2300 monster is shit.
Oh boy. Okay, am I gonna be the whole thing? Sorry, I was getting a bad gateway error on the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki. Okay, so the search is fucked, but the wiki itself seems to be okay. Maybe not. Are parts of the Wikipedia down? No, some pages work.
I'm over.
Is it literally just am I not allowed to search for Barbaroid, the ultimate battle machine? Because it seems like like parts of the wiki are working, but I cannot search for Barbaroid.
I have found something on. I found a DeviantArt render over on Google Images for you. If
I
things are giving you
did
trouble.
think I got him. I just have to. I like manually got there by searching. Like I said, it's just weird that parts of it are busted. Okay, so I think it's the... I will need the render, because I think it's the Master Duel version of the page that's fucked. Which is the part that has the, you know, non-scan version of the art. So, it'll be big, but we'll bring it in. And yes, this is a... 50% might be too small, hold on. This chat is a Roid-adjacent monster. This is a guy.
The big old dude. He does have Roid in his name, so he is a Roid,
Yes.
and he does require Roids to fuse him. How many does it require, Mega?
This fusion monster has the material requirements of 5 machine-type Roid monsters. 5!
I also, like, we could talk about Barbaroid, but I don't know where to start. This is...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, why is he, or maybe how is he a Roid? Don't fucking know. Don't ask me. I don't understand what's going on here. He doesn't even look like he's...
It's the ultimate combat life form.
Part of them. And I should say, in Japanese, this guy is Kyokusenko Valbaroido. Valbaroid. So possibly like Variable-roid. The ultimate battle machine king. Is he actually a machine king? Don't think so.
Oh, so okay, so it's Sigma.
Apparently, in the GX manga, he was fusion summoned with Einroid, Zryroid, Dryroid, Vidroid, and Funthroid, which is, if you don't know German, 1 through 5 Roid.
Also, by the way, some of these cards are good. Like, I just looked at Einroid. That guy's got 1800 defense. He's a 1-star, though. He says if this card's destroyed by battle, send 2 Roids from your deck to your graveyard.
Yeah, because it's a 1-star, a 2-star, a 3-star, a 4-star, and a 5-star, and the 3 through 5 just weren't real cards.
They should do that. I mean, it's because Barbaroid was printed as a promo for the manga like way later. Like he came out like more commonly, literally as a common in Star Pack 2013. So in the Xyz era. Okay, so Veroid doesn't do anything.
No, yeah, like Drivai and Funfroid just do not have effects because they were not summoned.
Yeah.
They were just not played.
Konami, once again, free real estate. Because like I said, and Zwei, like actually, I mean, Zwei is discard a card to gain 1,000 attack for a monster that's like a
But
level
also,
2 with 700.
It is manga, so it could just be lack of phrasing, but that's not until the end of the turn.
Yeah,
And that is not a once per turn either.
They would probably make it like a soft once per turn if they printed him, but I think a
It most definitely
permanent
should.
increase would still be funny. Like, it should still be permanent. If you could make that guy live 2 turns, it'd be funny. Also, a card that's not printed, there was also a special fusion spell to get him. which is basically just Miracle Fusion for Roids. Remove Roid material monsters from your graveyard from play to special summon a Fusion Roid. It's phrased very weird, but it's basically Miracle Fusion, Ultimate Machine Union. That's another card you could just straight up print. I think especially if you did also print it with Einroid, who sends 2 to graveyard, that would be good actually to give them a Miracle Fusion, which I don't think they have.
The closest they have is the field, like the what is it, the interconnecting railway thing.
Yeah, they've got some stuff, but like it's just a card that you could print these days and it would be fine. And like I said, we're not discussing what Barbaroid looks like because this is very much just what his manga panel looks like. I don't understand, and I can't even say what's he do in motion because he's only from the manga.
There really just is like I don't know where to start. Like it could just be like I think he is supposed to be Ein 1 through 5 Roid, like combined.
Yeah, because I looked at those guys' manga arts, and they are just shapes with cartoon eyes. Like, they are even less of a distinct thing than the other guys. And I do like that they have the German naming because that's a cool thematic thing with Cyber Dragons, because Cyber Dragons are also all Germany and stuff. That sounds like a good
German engineering, I guess.
A good thing to get into. Well, also, it's Japan, and they, like, German is one of the languages they think is, like, cool and slightly edgy. Ah, zwei, drei.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking at the arts. Zviroid is like the middle section with the little cannons.
Yeah, so he's just a combining mecha, but instead of being combined out of mecha that look like regular things, he's combined out of non-Euclidean shape toy mecha.
Yeah, like I'm going to link in Trad Games on the server the Barbaroid trivia page, and you all can look at the very small manga renders of 1 through 3, 1 through 5 Roid. I'm just going to keep calling them that because it's easier to say. And you can vaguely piece together how some because Dryroid is the head. He forms the head and stuff.
And honestly though, again, for the era this guy was in, like tucked in as a manga promo and then printed as a common in the star pack, not a terrible card. So this is an Earth Machine Fusion, level 12, 4K. So
which,
like,
you know, for 5 Roids is
not quite as big as 5 God Dragon, but close. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. So he's just a double attacker. He can't attack your opponent directly, unfortunately, so he can't just OTK on an open board. But he does get 2 attacks. And also, after damage calculation, if this card attacked an opponent's monster, negate the effects of that monster, including in the graveyard. This does not have a time constraint. Just that guy is negated forever. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent.
This is basically Super Armades.
Yeah. Your opponent's monster gets negated forever. It gets 2 attacks every battle phase. He's fucking 4K. And it has the effect of that one Sacred Beast. What's his nuts? The Fiend one. Do 1,000 damage after you attack. I actually think they're all Fiends. Is it blanking. Or is it Raziel? I don't remember. Might be Raziel.
I can't remember.
But yeah, no, it's this guy is actually for. Admittedly, it's a little hard to set up because they didn't print the Miracle Fusion right away, but if you actually released him with the Miracle Fusion, it is him on? Okay, I was like, I'm not sure which one it is, yeah. So, like, no, this guy's pretty good for a boss monster. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're trying to make Roid decks work now, this is a guy you bring out because, I mean, he's pretty big.
The moment this card released, Roids had a win con. The problem is you're playing Roids.
Yes, the problem is that finding 5 machine-type Roid monsters which are playable, that you can actually get in rotation to fusion summon, is harder than you'd think, chat.
Listen, Roid's gotten better. Like, if you got Bixeroid and so on, but it's like, it doesn't mean it's still not behind the curve.
Oh, and actually, I've realized I've missed some guys, actually. Yeah, we skipped a couple guys. I lost
You could, in theory, play this guy in your Speedroid deck because it's fun. Speaking
of which, Axe just mentioned Mixeroid, and I realized I did actually miss a couple guys. I don't know why. I think I just my eyes zoned
one of
out
the
and I
better ones.
lost them. It is a newer one, yeah. But here's Mixeroid. I straight up didn't realize this guy had the fusion on him. That's cute. I love it.
I was going to say that when you put him on screen, because like that, what the fuck? How have I never seen that
Mixed.
before?
Yeah, that's cute. But yeah, no. So this guy was released much later. He's in Legendary Duelist, so like this is when they started to do like more dedicated legacy support. Did make the cut for speed duels though. Sadly, Sag, this is a wind. I don't know why.
Another wind machine.
But
He also has a massive ass, though.
yeah, this is a wind machine level 4 with 0 attack, but 2200 defense. Konami finally went, you know what? All the Roids have big defense stats anyway. Fuck it. Let's give them a real defense. 22. And then its effect is you contribute 1 machine monster, special summon a non-wind Roid monster from your deck. Straight up. You can pay half your LP, banish any number of machine monsters from your graveyard, including this card, special summon for your extra deck 1 Roid fusion monster with the same level as the number of those banished monsters, ignoring its summoning conditions, but destroy it during the end phase. You can then use each effect once per turn. So Mixeroid's not perfect. I don't think it, for instance, is a replacement for that Ultimate Battle Machine Miracle Fusion card, but considering you have several fusions which are going to name-check specific combos, like, this is a good way to get around that of just, like, ignore their summon conditions, ignore their you know, other stuff, just fusion summon the monster with the same level as those banished. Like, you can do that. Also, yes, I do believe, I forgot to bring it up because I got double distracted, but actually, no, you can't overload fusion. Barbaroid's not dark. Does an overload have to be dark fusion monsters, or is that one of the later versions?
I believe so. That sounds right.
Yeah, but Barbaroid is an Earth Machine. That said, Earth Machines are very well supported. I'm sure there are other cards to summon him.
Yes, it is Dark Machine.
I mean, if Mixeroid is how you're supposed to summon him, that would be rough because it's not equal to the levels. It's the same level as the number of those banished monsters. So to summon Barbaroid, you would have to banish 12 Roids.
Be a lot.
Like, Mixeroid is good, especially considering, like, you know, 2017 they tried to bring him back. He's still not perfect. Like, he's not just banish those fusion materials from your deck. I think he works better for some other weird guys you can summon in Roids. But
Like the most powerful fusion, Steam Gyroid.
but he does work, and I do like that his effect is just tribute a machine monster, special summon a non-wind Roid. Like, he just gets him out of your deck. You can summon Dark Gyroid and Necroid Shaman that way, by the way. Those guys aren't wind. But, yeah. And the other one that I, like, just blanked on typing is not a big deal either. Though this one very much has those Kingdom Hearts vibes I talked about, but we forgot to mention Patrol Roid. Or, sorry, just Patroid.
Patoroidal.
Yes. It's a police car. He's an Earth Machine level 4 with 12/12. Once per turn during your main phase, you can look at a face-down card your opponent controls, then return it to its original position. It's the stupidest card ever. He sucks.
Get him out of
cab.
here. He doesn't. He's a pig. He doesn't deserve any more time on screen.
It's nothing. It's such a nothing card.
Yeah. Like I like the idea of the police car doing unlawful searches. It's very
snooping
silly.
your shit, but it just doesn't. It's a nothing burger for Roids when they came out in Cyrev. It's a double nothing burger now. Anyway, let's talk about double Psychroid.
I thought it was Parapsychroid.
Yeah, it's Parapsychroid.
I don't. You know, it exists. I like that he has horns.
Yeah, they made him the double. And I do appreciate. So this was a card again in one of those like side sets where they started printing anime cards. This was printed in 2014 in Dragons of Legend, so it's a little loosey-goosier than you'd think. So you'd think, oh, this is 2 Psychroids. No, it's just any 2 machine monsters with the same name.
Yeah. Okay, 2 machines.
They do have to be machines. So this does, by the way, mean that this card works in Sidra. I think you've got better extra deck targets, but you could play Parapsychroid in Cyber Dragon. Because all Cyber Dragons count as Cyber Dragon.
Oh.
I mean, he's a level 5 machine.
You know what? He's a level 5. He's a level 5 machine, Hey guys, you can attack directly. It's
Yeah.
1600. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else.
I appreciate that they did print him and that they did print him late enough that he's technically generic. I don't think he's actually good enough in Roids because, once again, are there 2 playable Roids of the same name? Am I gonna put 2 copies of something on the board? I
There's
guess
enough
he's
fuse who express Roid.
yeah, I don't know. Like it's better than it could be. And admittedly, it's only a level 5, so it's like an instant fusion target. So like there is combo potential, but once we get into like the Link era and stuff like that, like there's much better truly generic extra deck monsters you can play. This guy doesn't
Like
do
like
enough.
First of the Dragons.
I mean, yes, literally. You could
Playing
take 2
vanilla.
Psychroids and summon First of the Dragons. That would be a better fucking
Yeah.
idea. I mean, it's not just him equipped with training wheels. Like, this is truly a double bicycle. Notice he has 2 seats and 2 sets of pedals.
Like you can't say second seat because it's fucking hands, but it does have 2 seats.
And it does have better stats. I don't think it's literally 2 Psychroids put together, but because Psychroid was like...
Let
1,000?
me check Psychroid because I
Oh, no,
did not
okay.
bother to even look
Psychroid
at
was 800, so yeah, it is 2 Psychroids put together, and they're both level 3.
it does not have 2000 defense though. 1200 because it has to be balanced, I guess.
I don't know. So like it is like actually 2 guys together, but it has the effect because they never printed training reels. Let's talk about another weird fucking guy. I forgot how fucking much of a guy this is. Look at this dude. This is Steam Gyroid. What a
Now,
champ.
Obviously, this is Steamroid and Gyroid. Now you would think Steamroid's effect gives it 2300 attack, so obviously this card has to have more attack than that, right?
No.
Right, Omega?
No.
Right?
So
okay.
I
well,
want to say this. I want to say this. Look at Steam Gyroid. He looks kind of like a cool dude. He's got power lines coming off him. He's in the purple mist. He's
Yeah.
in the dank purple zone.
Got power bonded.
This guy is so disappointing.
Yo, well, okay, Omega.
It's just the body.
He had Gyroid's. Gyroid had the battle protection effect, and Gyroid has a decent battle effect. It has to have something good, so it does because it doesn't have the same attack, right? It has to have something good.
Honestly, they really should have made it where it's
No.
like
He
you
doesn't have
could lower his
anything.
attack twice. Or
This is
you
a
could-
one of our favorite examples. This is a non-effect monster.
Yep.
He's not a normal monster, obviously, because he's a fusion. He needs to list his materials. But this
You
guy
can 10
has
Yi
no
off this
effect.
thing.
I mean, yes, this is an acceptable target for Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. It's very funny. This guy sucks though. Give me a retrain. Call him Super Steam Gyroid. Literally, just give him Steamroid and Gyroid's effects, but only the good ones. And it would be fine. But yeah, no, it's a 2200
Honestly,
attacker with 1600 defense. It's a level 6 Earth Machine fusion with nothing.
He has less stats than Steamroid attacking and doesn't do fucking anything. He is a waste of space.
honestly, I could see a weird. Here's a weird idea. It pays 500 attack to attack again. It can do this until it has no more attack to spend.
I mean, it'll be a little awkward because it doesn't have intervals of 500, but like, honestly, literally just giving it when this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 500 attack, and then the first time this card would be destroyed, each turn it isn't, would be an okay fusion, you know. I mean,
Especially for power bonding, so it's going to do double
Yeah.
attack anyway.
like, there's stuff out there, and I do think the intent was this guy's supposed to be power bonded because he's like covered in lightning, so he's 44, but that's a terrible gimmick anyway. And also Sidra does that so much better, like these days. Cyber Dragons have so much more funny stuff, but we can't talk about that because the patrons refuse to vote for Cyber Dragons in the poll. I'll put it back up this year,
Never
but
mind. I thought we were.
I don't. No, I don't think we've actually gotten to talk about Cyber Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Marth will double check, but I'm pretty sure we never have actually gotten around to it because I have actually put it on the poll
I
a
think it
couple
might have
of
also because I
times.
just watched the Rada video, I guess.
Well, yes, Rada has actually defeated us in that because we it has not come up in a poll pick, so he actually put out an archetype archive. But yeah, it's okay. We did all of the E heroes and D heroes and Vision heroes and all the other ones before he did. Yeah, Cyber Dragon. I'm pretty sure we haven't actually done Sidra. Oh God, Sorry. So I mentioned before that Viacroid is usually the shorthand for this archetype, but only a few of them are actually called that. This is our first one. Yeah, we haven't done Cyber Dragon. Super Viacroid Jumbo Drill. So these guys are why Mixeroid exists. So real quickly, before we even acknowledge what I'm looking at, I know, you want to talk about it. You want to say what you see. Super Viacroid Jumbo Drill is an Earth Machine Fusion, level 8, 3k attack, 2k defense. It is a 3-mat. It is Steamroid, Drillroid, Submarineroid.
Why is it not Jetroid? It has Jetroid's stuff on it. Did you say Jetroid and I blanked it out?
No. It's this guy involves Steamroid. No, I don't.
Why?
I think it's supposed to be Jetroid because of the colors and the
should
intake.
be. That is most definitely Jetroid's like intake. Like it's like a color, but it's definitely Jetroid.
But no, Steamroid. Also, a fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. This is why Mixeroid exists for these Super Viacroids, because they're really stupid to summon and way too over the top. I will say at least that for the time period, it had an okay effect. It's a 3k attacker, and it inflicts piercing. That's it. It's a 3-mat that pierces.
I mean, I'm running out of things to say. I'm running out.
It's a big drill.
Yeah.
Kind of cool looking.
Well, that's why I said I was like, I don't know if we want to talk about this, because this guy's crazy. He's a big drill that's a sub, but he has wheels and he has claw hands. Why does he have claw hands? I don't want to look at him anymore.
Where did the hands come from?
Why does he have hands? And also, if, as Vesper noted, if he is not part Jetroid, why does he have Jetroid's pinkish color scheme and have the jet intake? Anyway, let's talk about a guy who
I assumed you said Jetroid when you paused, because I was like, oh, did I mishear you? like you sounded confused.
No. Let's talk about a guy we may have slightly more to talk about. In that we can just say this is literally just a Transformer. This guy just has a Megatron's face on. This is Super Viacroid Mobile Base.
I do love that this guy is. His stat line is one of the funniest I've ever seen on the card.
Yeah. I do want to say, before I touch on that briefly, this is pretty good card art. He is inside the Viacroid City, which is in my list of things to talk about, so we will at least pull that card art up. I do like that he's just, like, a building that decided to stand up, right? Like, he's got, like, what looks like part of, like, a construction crane as his arms and shit, like... Again, don't know why this is a theme with Viacroids, but it's good. I like it. I wish they were more like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is an Earth Machine Fusion level 10. 0 attack, 5,000 defense.
Yup.
And this is, I don't know if we ever had a funny name for this like we did with like Axel Synchros, but this is like a two-step fusion because it is one Roid fusion monster and one Roid monster. So you need to have already fusion summoned or do some funny shit where you yeet guys from your extra deck as materials to get him out there. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Special summon one Roid monster from your deck or extra deck with attack less than or equal to that monster. You can only use this effect of Super Viacroid Mobile Base once per turn. Once per turn during the end phase, target a Roid monster in your main monster zone other than this card. Return that monster you control in your hand. If you do, move this card you control to that monster's main zone. That is a Link era effect. This guy was in Legendary Duelists, which was like very early Link era. So Super Viacroid Mobile Base has a way to get himself out of the EMZ, which is absolutely unnecessary today, but is very funny. That said, like actually, the ability to special summon a Roid from your deck or extra deck with attack less than or equal to that guy, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If less Roid actual like machine Viacroid fusion monsters must be special summoned or can only be must be fusion summoned, sorry, or must be special summoned with those materials like out there, it would probably be funnier. But still, like he's got a flex slot. It's very cute. I think that means you can bring out Barbaroid with him if your opponent has a 4K guy, which is silly.
You know, if everyone has their own their own 5-guy dragon out there, fuck them.
Yeah, like there's a lot of a little goofy out there, but you're right. This guy's stat line is comical, like 0-5K, and he doesn't have protection either. Like this guy dies to fucking Raigeki break, but it's cute. I appreciate it. We're trying, right? It's not a win con like Barbaroid, but we're trying. Yes, you can summon Speedroid Synchro monsters this way if you wanted to do the funny wombo, because it's just Roid monster. You can't get Clearwing guys, but you can get the Synchro.
You can get like
Speedroids.
Kendama, Kite Drake. There are still plenty of pure synchro monsters that can cause many a shenanigan.
Yeah, so there's room out there. And then we have a second in this theme because, they had a 3-mat, but also back in the day, and kind of setting the tone for what Mobile Base would become, we had a fucking 4-mat fusion. This guy has body proportions like
This is just Starscream.
like a Gaogaigar, but I like that he's got, like, combined Transformer bits like a Megazord in a Sentai. But also, yes, you are absolutely correct that just like this guy's silhouette is just Starscream.
I do like as well that like you can't see the faces excluding Stealthroid's like sunglasses. It looks like the all of the roids that fuse this guy cease becoming sentient.
Yeah, they all become Super Viacroid Stealth Union. I mean, I can't tell if you're type, but also like I don't remember. Admittedly, I'm not very familiar with Gaogaigar, but like, does that have a train sticking out of his shoulder?
There is a Gao Fight Gar. It's not a train, but oh no.
Yeah,
I
part of
found
it's
it.
a train.
Okay, so there is that vehicle combo. All right.
I'm posting it to Portrayal. Even down to the drills on his knees.
This is, I mean, they put a truck instead of a lion, which is a, I was gonna say step up, but no, even ironically, I can't say that. It's a step down. But no, yes, you are absolutely correct. This is just Fight Gar. That's interesting. When did this show come out?
90s.
Okay, so hypothetically, Cyrus Truesdale could have seen it as a child.
The King of Braves, Scout Geiger, episode 1. Fucking.
But yeah, no.
97.
Okay, yeah. So interesting. So that's considering this was the mid 2000s. That's a decent retro reach. And you are right that indeed that guy has bullet trains as his shoulders. I wasn't sure.
I also just love the very first line in the year 2005, which immediately dates this show. It's like in the far off future of 2005.
Wow, yeah.
Only 8 years ahead of when they actually it, so it's probably.
I mean,
10
also,
years ahead of when they made it.
Vesperas posted an image of the Gao Fight Gar, which like it assuming it's not like a specific slot, it has a lion in its chest, in addition to the stealth plane wings, the shoulder pads that are a bullet train, the drill knees,
the drill knee pads that like funny. Just I love dumb shit like that.
I come back to
Gao Gaigar.
So yeah, no, I mean this is in the ballpark. It's got some different stuff. He has a very funny look on his face. He's got like the truck wheels are like head earmuffs or headset, and he's got a truck on his head, which is again not how the robot we've got linked here looks with like yeah. I mean that looks less like it. That just has the drill knees and the bars. Those are no longer trains. I mean, if they're supposed to be trains, they don't look like trains. And that also doesn't have a truck on the chest. So, like, I guess it's an homage to all of them, especially because none of the color schemes are quite right. Because he's still colored like Drill Roid and Submarine Roid and shit. Anyway, Stealth Union is a Earth Machine fusion monster, level 9. He's 3600, 3K. And he has a 4-mat specific mat fusion, so you better hope this is good, like Elemental Hero Electrum. Spoilers, I don't think he's that good. He requires Truck Roid, Express Roid, Drill Roid, Stealth Roid.
Which, they are all on his design.
Yeah. Once per turn, soft once per turn, target one face-up non-machine monster on the field, equip that target to this card. While equipped with a monster by this effect, you can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If this card attacks, its original attack is halved. If this card attacks a defensive monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So this card is unfortunately hampered by the fact that they gave it a cool effect and then immediately gave it a bad downside. So, like, it's not actually 36 when it attacks. It's, what would half of 36 be? Hold on.
1800.
1800?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not a terrible number, but it's really not that great.
Yeah. I mean, it can attack directly, unlike Barbaroid, who came out later. And it has a very funny, like I said, removal effect. Just target a face-up non-machine, equip it. And it's only... It's like a reverse Steamroid, right? Where, like, your opponent still has to deal with 3600 attack. But the fact that its attack gets halved makes this piercing thing a lot shittier.
And I mean...
And it's a lot harder to pull off attack each.
I have seen people get owned by this card in the best way, where they have one monster on the field, you get power bombed by this asshole and just explode because you get attacked by 7200.
Yeah, no.
You just get your face exploded.
Yeah, he's still a big guy with piercing, and like I said, a lot of, even though the Roids don't really try and work the power bond in, a lot of these cards do seem like they are meant to be used with shit like power bond. And obviously you can. This is another guy that Mixeroid cheats out very easily. Well, not easily because you have to send 9 fucking guys, but just play Ishizu Roid. Throw all your monsters in the fucking graveyard. Anyway, but like for Gladiator Assault, right? Late GX. A format fusion is asking a lot, but it's pretty decent. But like I said, it's very funny to me that despite the fact that, like I said, Mobile Base came out a while ago, these guys have not had a better game-ending monster than, at least not without counting on power bonding, than Barbaroid, who is a weird manga guy.
I think that is the unfortunate death knell of Vehicroids, in that they were designed explicitly with power bond in mind as your game winner. So a lot of these Roid fusions just feel kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like at a base design.
Yeah. And
I think
we're gonna look at their spell traps.
Nature.
Good.
I think that is the nature of, because they made power bond, they're like, okay, every machine fusion monster we have to design with power bond in mind. And they eventually realized, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
it's not that crazy.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk about their spell traps because they have very few. This is a problem of having an archetype that isn't an archetype. Writing support is hard. I do think at least one of these mentions power bond in there somewhere, but it's not perfect. First is Emergeroid Call. This was in Legendary Duelists. They got the counter trap, the classic. When a spell trap or monster card, monster effect is activated while you control a Roid fusion monster, negate. Send all cards with the same name as that card from the activating player's deck and extra deck to the graveyard. So, like, they realized that Roids needed not just an Omni, but they needed the most asshole Omni possible. Fucking get yeeted. You try and Raigeki a Roid fusion with a Emergeroid Call set, which I do think, by the way, has a better name in the OCG. It's just Redoroido Call. I assume they didn't want to translate it that way because not all of these guys are red, but anyway. It sounds cooler. Shut up. But yeah, no. This is one of the meanest archetypal Omnis ever. Send all cards with the same name to graveyard from the player's decks. And now, admittedly, here's the problem. If your opponent is activating a monster effect on the board, it gets negated. That monster doesn't go away. So, like, it's not perfect, but still very, very gnarly to just bin all their extra copies from deck. Pitch them all. Get them out of here. Very funny. Like I said, this was 2017, so, like, they tried a little, but not perfect. Our next one is the field spell. We did it. I do like, by the way, the way they write this. This is Megaroid City I'm about to pull up. The way that the OCG writes that is Megaroido Shitty. Literally spelled shitty, but with one T and an I. But it's very funny. Anyway, this is Megaroid City. This, by the way, is what Mobile Base looks like when he's pretending. It is kind of cute, though. I do like all the extra details. You can see a Carrier Roid in the water. You can see Decoy Roid and Truck Roid hanging out, pretending. Mixer Roid, Drill Roid, and Psych Roid are in the tubes. I think that's Stealth Roid up there. UFO Roid's even in the
pneumatic
background.
tubes.
So, like, and I guess Express Roid on the train station. So, like, it's cute. We got a lot of detail in here. We like that.
Welcome to the big fuck off playset you buy to have them all in.
Also, hey, I want to say this. You're spreading misinformation in trad games. I did not use them interchangeably. You brought up Fightgar, and we kind of cross-reference him, but Vesper posted an image, which I believe is Gygar. For purposes of Stealth Union, they are actually interchangeable because I do think Stealth Union is somewhere between either of those designs. It is not literally one or the other. I would actually assume because it's Cyrus, it's probably supposed to be the protagonist mech, but it's a little loosier-goosier. And I will say, I think actual Gygar is closer because it has much more bullet train-looking shoulders. Anyway. Megaroid City Field Spell. You can target one of the card you control. Destroy it. If you do, add a Roid card from your deck to your hand. Any Roid, by the way. During damage calc, if your Roid monster battles, send a Roid monster from your deck to the graveyard. Switch the attack and defense of your battling monster during damage calc only. You can only use each effect once per turn. You can't special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate either of these effects, even if it leaves the field. This I actually like. This is a good way to block out Speedroids from actually doing Speedroid stuff because they are a synchro deck with some links.
You know, I am looking at this card art. There is something funny about seeing, like, one Decoy Roid, I believe, is on the right.
Yes.
Like the right entrance, driving in. You look on the left tube, you see Psychroid in front of Vehicroid Jumbo Drill, which looks tiny as hell.
It might just be regular Drillroid, I'm not sure, but it could be Jumbo, I can't tell.
It could be Drillroid, but we just never seen Drillroid. Like, Drillroid does not look
Psychoroid
like a
is
vehicle.
bigger than Decoy Roid, yes, that's weird.
And also Carrier is just in the middle of this ocean. I'm assuming that's a door that opens. Doesn't look like it, but I guess there could be a hatch.
But yeah, Megaroid City is a pretty good field spell. It's not a do-everything field spell because it does require you to control monsters and destroy them. Or destroy any card, honestly. But again, what back row are you playing in Roids? But, like, it lets you search, you know, and I think we talked a lot about how a lot of Roids are much more defense-oriented than not, right? And this especially works with Super Vehicroid Mobile Base. Switching your attack and defense for the damage calc is a very effective, funny trick. And you do get to, like, send them. So, like, it's a pretty good effect, and I do like that it locks you to fusion monsters, so that, like, hypothetically you can still play Speedroids with this card, but you can't actually do Speedroid, like, synchro combos. It's an all-right, like, wombo. But there are some other weird shit we got going on. Now we're gonna look at, they have an old trap card, which, by the way, is of a guy who, like, it also isn't a card. This is Supercharge. Literally Supercharge.
Yeah, what the... We don't have this guy.
Yeah, Car Roid or Taxi Roid or whatever this guy's supposed to be doesn't exist, but he's on Supercharge.
Bumblebee Roid.
That might get us in trouble. I guess they could call it Beetle Roid because it is a VW Beetle.
That'd be funny.
And again, it kind of cements to me that, like, I feel like there's a little bit of a cross-pollination with Transformers, and I know that there was, I don't remember the name off the top of my head, there was a brand that the Transformer toys are made from the mold of in Japan.
Minicron something fucking.
Yeah, but that wasn't a
Minicons.
one-to-one with the model. Buggy Roid, that's a good one. I like that. But yeah,
I was gonna say Punch Buggy Roid.
this card says if your opponent's monster
Here we-
declares an attack while all your all your monsters are
Is
machine roids.
Jalopy trademarked?
It was
I don't think so.
Diaclone and Microchange.
Okay. That's right, because there were two brands, because Microchange were all the guys that became small things, like guns and cassette players.
Yeah.
Jalopy is not that, but I wouldn't call this a Jalopy. He's supercharged, for instance. But I think Buggy Roid is very cute. We should do that. But yeah, this just says if your opponent's monster declares an attack while all monsters you control are machine roid monsters, minimum 1, draw 2. It doesn't do anything about the fact that your machines are about to die, but Jetroid can trigger this from hand, and it does say draw 2, so, like, I think this is a funny card you probably still play in Roids just because more draw power is not bad. It's funny. I appreciate it. But it would be funnier if you combine this with Card D and just make a monster that does that. Also, this is another one that's like, this is actually a Roid card, but is like still in the loosey-goosey enough day that it's not searchable, and the aesthetics are a little weird. This is Wonder Garage.
What the
Here you
fuck?
go, Nick. I came up with a name. I put it in stream chat.
Card D
This
Roid.
looks like-
That'd be cute.
This looks like an anime only card. What is this?
Oh no, this was printed. This was printed in Power of the Duelist, so this has been printed for a long time. Guess what this card is? It's Waking the Dragons, but just for Roids, but shittier.
Huh?
If this set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 or lower machine Roid from your hand. This card's bad. Just play Fist of the Unrivaled 10-year Waking the Dragon.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I appreciate the effort, right? Like, just... Especially because I do believe that, like, MST was legal during parts of the GX anime, and I feel like Jaden did a lot of back row popping, like several E-heroes do that. I mean, and you've got, in the manga streams and stuff.
MST was played quite a lot.
Yeah.
In
Like,
GX.
This is a very cute anime card to just be like, well, you blew up my set card. That means I actually get to summon a guy, which could be Decoy
This
Roid.
it does feel like a card that was designed when they're thinking, we might ban Waking the Dragons, so let's print this card for Roids. But then they just never did it. So this card is redundant.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't play it now, but it's cute and I appreciate the effort. And then it's time for our last card. Make sure I'm copying the image. The big one, which is they did give them their own fusion spell, but it's kind of awkward. This is Viacroid Connection Zone. Oh, that's right.
This is.
Monster card effects in the manga are weird, but you're right. Our Righteous Justice is what I was thinking of.
But yeah, I don't think Shadows. I don't think Shadows did anything. I think Shadows was just a fucking vanilla. In
As
the
we've
manga.
discussed, the GX manga is weird. Those guys literally don't have effects until you say they have effects. Like a lot of them don't do stuff until they do stuff. But yeah, our Righteous Justice was MST, but just for heroes. So Viacroid Connection Zone is just. This card was printed in 06, so that's why it looks like this.
Oh. Shadows had an effect.
I would say that means that I still think there's room for them to print Ultimate Battle Machine. Fusion Summon 1 Viacroid Fusion monster from your extra deck. So, guess what? That only works for Jumbo Drill Mobile Base and Stealth Union. Again, this archetype is so weird. Using monsters from your hand or field with fusion material. If you do, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and its effects can't be negated. So, like, it's cute that Dragonroid kind of lets you do that, but I believe we brought this up way earlier. Your quote-unquote archetypal, because it doesn't even work for all your guys, because this archetype is, like I said, such an own goal. It's so weird. But you already have a pretty decent fusion spell. Like, if Konami just made more Viacroid fusions, or, like, retconned more of the Roid fusion monsters to be Viacroids, this would be a pretty good fusion spell. It's polymerization, but that monster can't be destroyed by card effects and can't be negated. Could be pretty good.
Like, I mean, it's very much a good additional effect to put onto your Viacroids, but gotta be a Viacroid.
Yeah, I think this card's probably not worth playing just because, like, your two of your Viacroids are, they're a 3-mat and a 4-mat that are hard locked to specific names, and this only does hand or field, so you have to be blocked up on those guys. It doesn't work with, like, Ambulance Rescue Roid or Steam Gyroid or anything like that. If you did this with mobile base, though, like, I think mobile base is designed with, speaking of, like, those other guys being designed with Power Bond in mind, I think mobile base was designed with this in mind. Mobile base as a 5k wall who can't be destroyed by card effects and his effects can't be negated? That's going to be hard to get rid of. That guy's tough. But again, this deck is hampered because Konami just doesn't want to try and untangle the mess that is these decks and make them make sense, and, like, hasn't gone all in on making their extra deck monsters Viacroids. So you get some weird shit. And this doesn't summon Barbaroid, which, again, as we discussed, is your actual win con. So, like... once again, Konami, now that I've realized that Ultimate Battle Machine is a card that exists, which is just Miracle Fusion for Roid fusions, print that card. Speedroids don't have fusion monsters. It doesn't matter. I mean, admittedly, it would mean that Speedroids could make Barbaroid easier, because you can just banish it, but you can already do that. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like... I don't know what it would take for Roid to be a good deck. I also don't know what it would take for Roid to be a playable deck, but it's funny to me that Konami has been doing all this effort to print manga and anime cards and haven't printed some of the cards for Roid that would actually, like, make them better. Giving them a Miracle Fusion, giving them the 1 through 5s, like, and literally 3 of those guys don't have effects listed, so you can just make up whatever the fuck the deck needs, Konami.
The most I can assume is just they are machines, and we are terrified of making the 50th great machine deck.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you want to just turbo out machine
just actually
fusions,
make Cyber Dragonroid.
that would also be funny. This card counts as Cyber Dragon when it's face up on the field or in the graveyard, because Cyber Dragons all do that. That'd be cute. I will also say, GX does already have a really strong kick your ass out of nowhere fusion machine deck. It's called Ancient Gears. And Ancient Gears have, for a lot longer, been able to just make a guy that makes you go, oh shit, I have to stop this guy from being summoned or I'm dead.
Let us not forget, what was it? Ancient Gears beat
Snake Eye? Yeah.
What's the
Like
Snake Eyes?
Gears, Ancient Gears is good. And their latest shit just came out in Master Duel, if you're curious, chat.
What is it?
Shit, I'm gonna have to play it again.
Not Chaos Giant. Well, it's Chaos Giant. And what is it? Howitzer? That are just two
Howitzer. So
Yeah, Howitzer is can't be destroyed by card effect. Period. Does 1k burn damage if you remove him at all. Just summons an Ancient Gear.
Not affected by card effects. Period.
Oh right, yes, no, it's unaffected straight up. That's right. So you have to destroy him by battle, and that just turns into an Ancient Gear golem.
I have seen people use up so many what is it? Infinite impermanence trying to get rid of him, and it's like, no, that doesn't work.
People are dumb in Master Duel. They don't think about what they're doing and just see that they can activate stuff, and then just don't realize that the reason why they could activate stuff is because it's not that you can't do it; it's unaffected. But like, let me double check what the big bunglers are called these days.
Anyway, I'll be right back. Just
because there's Ultimate, which is the 3-mat. That guy's a big pain in the ass because he's 4,400 and piercing.
What else is there left?
For what?
For Roids. Is this
Oh,
it?
none. This is it. We're done. We're out.
Oh, thank God.
We can all go home. Yeah, it's 3 hours.
I'm-
We yapped a lot, but Roids was also pretty long. That's why I was doing my concluding statement, which was, I don't know what it would take to make Roids functional or even good, but they have the resources to try, and I would like to see them try.
I mean, like they're Roids just by nature of being like this machine deck. I mean, again, they have access to power bomb. They can make an 8K Barbaroid.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not be able to attack directly, but an 8K Barbaroid on an open field of Bunguses will kill you.
It's always funny that, like, you know, we get Ancient Gear support and there is no new extra deck monster because they know.
I mean, honestly, between Ultimate and Chaos Giant and like the guys you already have, you are correct. You don't need them. Like, Ancient Gear is good. They already have a fusion spell that's good too.
We have a Link monster. His only purpose is to pop Gear Town.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
like,
to get Gear Town and then pop it.
yeah, Gears. Like, honestly, Ancient Gears are good. I think the only thing that stops Ancient Gears is just they are technically a battle phase deck. Like, they are a deck that is
Yes.
summon big assholes that punish your opponent for outing them, go to battle phase, your opponent can't respond, they die.
And as some people would say, a bit slow. We can't just combo off and grab all our pieces. Sometimes it does take luck and...
They're getting better
Hopefully
about
the opponent
consistency.
being
I think their
stupid.
main killer is just that they are such a hardcore going second deck. Like, they don't have any control cards other than, I guess, just make Howitzer, right?
Oh. The other thing that is funny is when people don't read Ancient Gear, I think it's Stronghold, that says, the turn they are summoned, Ancient Gears are not affected by enemy card effects.
Yeah, like, Gears
They
are
cannot be
funny.
destroyed. People don't read that.
Phew. Oh, sorry. I was resting the sneeze
Bless
jam.
you.
I don't know why my things are there. Axe has left us.
Again,
but it's
I
okay.
think my
He's
sickness
moved
is
on.
passing over to you.
No, I'm not
Where did
sick.
Axe go?
He had a thing come up. 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. A little under that. He said he had to go do another thing. We've gone like way over time. We need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say is one. At least for now, Fail Portrayal is going to go back to hopefully every week. We'll see when we get what we get. We should be doing a structure deck next, unless you guys want to jump back into doing a cube. Because I have so many funny cubes.
Cubes are always fun.
But let me see. What's the? Because we last did. We had to do a two-parter because there were so many fucking Endymion cards. So what would be the next one to talk about? That's Spellcaster's Judgment. I mean, like, honestly, we've already done Ancient Gear, so that doesn't matter. I think technically the next card would be, it's not an archetype, but we did already do the zombie one, so it's not quite, we're already doing some different stuff anyway. I think it would be the rock deck, the rock structure deck. Would be next. That was called, what was it? Because after Spellcaster, it was Invincible Fortress. It featured, who was the cover card? What's his name? Exod, Master of the Guard, that's right. And I think this could be an interesting, I'd have to curate it a little, but we could talk about the Sphinx cards that are technically an archetype, and also talk about just like the concept of rock stun. So that could be cute. But if we don't want to do that right away, which would, like I said, require me to do some extra work, we can also just do a cube. I got a few funny things up. Actually, Loth's already saying he's got a shift next week, so let's not do a cube because we want more people.
Yeah.
We'll talk about we'll talk about rocks next
Sorry.
week.
Hold on. Sorry, bad time for me to unmute.
The cough got it. Well, one last squared up, I'll say that. But the other thing I was going to say is that It is a new month. We've done this was technically the Patreon episode. It was delayed a little bit, so there'll be another Patreon poll to patron it up for our 5 and up patrons to vote on. I will have to wrestle cats as usual to get everybody to respond because like
I
Axe has left.
won!
Yeah, you did win. Viacard won. That is kind of why I'm.
And I have to come up with another fucking archetype.
I know
God damn
to
it.
maybe win again. Yeah. Mark's saying he's locked in for his. We did discern that we have actually done Fire Fist and Fire Kings. When did we do those? Sometime. Marth actually has the episode number. I'll probably just pick Sidra again because of the thing I said, so we'll see. But yeah, these guys don't have to
Did
worry
we talk about
it 'cause of me.
Cyberdog?
We haven't talked about them specifically. If you want to call it Cyber Darks, because those are separate from Cyber Dragons, you could do Cyber Darks.
Fuck it. Let's go.
All right, now you got a real challenge, Chad. Are you going to pick light mode or dark mode? Among other things, because there'll be other options on the poll. I'll get back to you guys about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll post it when I post it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we should be back on because the PSN servers are back up and everything's fine for another Final Fantasy 14 episode. Don't know what we're doing, but we'll do something. If nothing else, I have more.
Worst
leveling
case
to do.
scenario, we take you into Castrum.
Yeah, I mean, we can't actually do Castrum now because that's on my list of things to do. Or we might have a little quiet crafty episode. I don't know. Catch up on some crafties. I know Lucky said when they talked about it in the live letter, and we will probably discuss what's upcoming in 7.1 as well, chat. But Lucky talked about the live letter that he said he didn't finish his Watsubiki quests, the kind of special delivery quests in Dawn Trail. So we got some stuff open. Anyway. Watch that. Do go back and watch Astrobot yesterday. I was a little short, but I would encourage you to watchify it. And that's everything for me. I'm going to end the stream now and probably go play TCG Card Trap Simulator. Good night
Wahoo!
and good luck.
Bye.